What's going on, social media socialites? If you are watching this on the replay, this is an impromptu live. If you're watching this for the first time and you don't know who I am, my name is E.DeanCole, and I own E.DeanCole Financial. We are a consulting firm, and we specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. That's who I am. That's what I do. And this is a impromptu live. This is an momentous occasion. Yes, this is a live for Cohen. This is not clickbait. I am actually going to play Roger Cohen live as he begins to snitch on President Trump. So this is live. Now this right here is Mr. Cummings. Chairman. He is the Speaker for Congress. I'm not going to get into a lot of commentary again on this. I own a consulting firm, so in the middle of working, I saw that Cohen was live, so I wanted to take the time to kind of come on here and talk about some things. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're like, Dean, I didn't know you were live. Two things. Thing number one, you've seen one of my videos before, but you did not subscribe. Or thing number two, if you did subscribe, you did not hit that notification bell. So it's important that you subscribe and you hit that notification bell. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this introduction. Like I said, I'm about to just go ahead and get into it, and we're going to watch live as Cohen, as he testifies against Trump and snitches on Trump. And I would like to know your thoughts about it. So let me go ahead and get started.
Let me say this.
Let me see if you can hear okay.
You've made it clear that you do not want the American people to hear what Mr. Cohen has to say. But the American people have a right to hear him.
Speaking of that, can you guys hear this? Let me know if you guys can hear this or not. And yes, this is live. So give me a moment, guys. My system is going a bit slow. Let me know if you guys can hear this or not. Let me know if you guys can hear this or not. Let me go and test my sound, see how I sound. Let me test my sound, see how I sound. Guys, hear this? Let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, I sound pretty good. And yes, this is live, so give me a moment, guys. Let me see. Before, but you didn't. Okay. Okay, it's very low. All right, so it's very low, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, first let me take my sound down because my sound is loud. And this is live, guys. This is a live reaction to Cohen. So let's see how this sounds now.
Now,
Chairman?
yes.
We did not say that. We just said we wanted to follow the rules. He didn't say stop the hearing. He just said postpone it so we could get his testimony and the exhibits when we were supposed to get them according to the rules of this committee. That's all we said. We didn't say we didn't want to hear from the guy. We just said we want to follow the rules.
Now, let me give some redress to some individuals if you guys might not know what's going on. So what's happening right now is the Republicans are the minority in the committee right now. So what the Republicans are doing is they're trying to grandstand and they're trying to stop Cohen from testifying, because that's why this is so damaging, because Trump can go down for this. Not only can Trump get impeached, there's a possibility that he can go to jail for fraud. And so Cohen has already been convicted for lying to Congress. And so what the Republicans are doing, they're trying to stop they're trying to stop him from testifying. So let's see who the first person to participate, the first person in the building was. First person in the building was Carolina Kid. Hey, Carolina Kid, how are you doing today? American politics, never a dull moment. Absolutely, Ray David. Ray David is a client of mine from Canada. He's in the building. So you guys can hear okay? If you guys can hear me okay, I want you to say sounds good. If the sound doesn't sound good, I want you to say sounds bad. And if you're watching on the replay, make sure that you subscribe to me so you can participate live, because if you participate live, it's so much better to participate live. And we're going to get into this. And so this is not clickbait. We're going to watch the entire thing live. Like I said, it's going on right now. I was in the middle of working and I realized what was going on. So I said that I wanted to jump into this. So this is a live reaction. You're going to see this as I see it as well. So let's go ahead and get back into this.
Play me my time. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes to give an opening statement.
All right. So as you can see, hold on for a second, let me pause for a moment. As you guys can see the disclaimer at the bottom. So YouTube, let's go back to this. Like I said, this is this is live. So YouTube, ABC, U.S. government, NBC, all of those good people. Y'all see, let me show you. I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. All right, let's see. All right, y'all not gonna mess me up and mess my channel up. Y'all see this disclaimer. This is protected against copyright infringement, okay? The use of this is for the purposes of teaching as well as for giving commentary, all right? So don't come and play these games with me. We about to get into this. Let's just go ahead and break it down because I'm so curious to hear what's going on.
Hear the testimony of Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's longtime personal attorney and one of his closest and most trusted advisors over the last decade. On August 21st, Mr. Cohen appeared in federal court and admitted to arranging secret payoffs of hundreds of thousands of dollars on the eve of the election to silence women alleging affairs with Donald Trump. Mr. Cohen admitted to violating campaign finance laws and other laws. He admitted to committing these felonies, quote, in coordination with and at the direction of, unquote, President Trump. And he admitted to lying about his actions to protect the president. Some will certainly ask if Mr. Cohen was lying then, why should we believe him now? This is a legitimate question. As a trial lawyer for many years, I faced this situation over and over again, and I ask the same question. Here is how I view our role. Every one of us in this room has a duty to serve as an independent check on the executive branch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in search of the truth. The president has made many statements of his own, and now the American people have a right to hear the other side. They can watch Mr. Cohen's testimony and make their own judgment. We received a copy of Mr. Cohen's written statement late last night. It includes not only personal eyewitness accounts of meetings with Donald Trump as president inside the Oval Office, but it also includes documents and other corroborating evidence for some of Mr. Cohen's statements. For example, Mr. Cohen has provided a copy of a check sent while President Trump was in office with Donald Trump's signature on it to reimburse Mr. Cohen for the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. This new evidence raises...
Oh, you got the receipts. wait. Y'all see that? Hold up. Wait. Y'all see that? They ain't playing no games with Trump. They have the actual receipts showing where he paid Stormy Daniels, Donald J. Trump, paid Stormy Daniels $35,000. Wow. It says paid to the order of Michael Cohen, and he's showing that he's Cohen ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? Like Cohen is, he's showing all, he's telling all. This alone right here is enough to get Trump up out of there. But see, this is the thing. Like everybody, they jumping on the bandwagon with Jesse Smollett. They're jumping on the bandwagon with, let me see if I can bring this down. Is he gonna bring it down? No, that's good. We good. They're jumping on the bandwagon with Jesse Smollett. They're jumping on the bandwagon with R. Kelly. Are we gonna keep that same energy and jump on the bandwagon against Trump? Let's see. You guys are watching. What do you guys think? Do you guys think? And let's talk about this. Like I said, this is live. I don't know how long this is gonna go, but let me ask. What do you guys think? Do you think that Trump is gonna get out of here? Do you think that we're finally gonna have some type of justice? What do you guys think? What do you guys think as far as the situation with Trump? Do you think that this is going to be enough to get Trump impeached? And matter of fact, do you think Trump should be impeached? Okay, so let's do this. If you think Trump should be impeached, I want you to say he should. 2 words. He should. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to make a mind muscle connection with this, even if you're watching us live. I want you to participate with us as if you're watching live. And next time I'm live on Instagram, next time I'm on Instagram, you guys can participate with me. So make sure you follow me on Instagram so that the next time I'm live, you can see and know that I'm live. But yeah, do you guys think that he should, do you think that he should be impeached? If you think he should, I want you to say he should. If you don't think so, I want you to say that don't think so. 3 words. If you think he should be impeached, I want you to say he should. If you don't think that he should, I want you to say don't think so. Those 3 words. And also let me know, do you think that this will get him out of here? If you do you think it will? Let me know what you think. Let's go ahead and thank you guys so much for participating with me. All right. So Peter says Trump 2020. Okay, that's good stuff. No, it's not illegal to hire an escort, Connor, but it is illegal to use funds for your campaign to pay for it. So, and actually it is illegal. So Connor Calvert says it's not illegal to hire an escort. Well, that's incorrect on both ways. 1, yes, unless you're in Nevada, unless you're in Las Vegas, Nevada, that is the only place where it is legal to hire an escort. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2, it is also illegal for you to use company finances to pay for that. So I'm glad that we have some Trump supporters in here because we have healthy conversation. And there's nothing wrong with healthy conversation. I welcome and enjoy healthy conversation. Documentation is king. Absolutely, Vashawn. Absolutely. All right, so Connor says he can't. Okay, we're going to talk about that. All right, so Trucker says he should. All right, so Peter says H no, he should not. This is good. This is good, healthy conversation, guys. I like this. Share. Thank you so much. My beautiful fiance is in the building. Don't forget to like it. Thank you so much, baby. I appreciate that. All right. So Peter says you don't think so, and Nika says he should. That's great that we have healthy conversation. There's nothing wrong with healthy conversation, guys. I think that it's a miscalculated assumption that people have to argue. You can disagree and you can agree to disagree. I believe that he should. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with Trump. I love what he does for me as a businessman, but I hate what he does for me as a black man. And so I think that he should be impeached, and I want to see him be impeached because that's going to help me feel good about the system. It's going to give me a sense of satiety to feel as if some form of justice is served, even though he is very good for the economy as an entrepreneur, but he's very bad for the racial climate as a black man. If you guys understand where I'm coming from, I want you to say, I get it. 3 words, I get it. If you understand, I want you to say, I get it. And let's go ahead and get into this a little bit more as they draw up these receipts, guys. He got the receipts. Cohen ain't playing no games. He said, I'm snitching. I ain't gonna be in here by myself.
Of troubling legal and ethical concerns about the president's actions in the White House and before. Would you all close that door, please?
All right, we have 45 people watching live. Hold on for a second. We have 45 people watching live. Let's all of you guys hit that like button at the same time. Let's go ahead and share this. I know this is the middle of the day. People are at work in their lunchtime hour. If you can, go ahead and share this in a group message. Share this in a group chat. Share this. Thank you so much. First person said, okay, you get it. You get it. That's good stuff. All right, so Odyssey said you get it. Thank you so much. The Cat Aficionado says I get it. That's good stuff. All right. All right, we get it. Absolutely. B says she gets it. Absolutely. All right, so Connor says I lost. Okay, Connor, well, you're entitled to your opinion. Thank you for watching me on my channel, Connor. I appreciate you for letting me know I'm lost on my channel. Let's go ahead and get to this.
This check is dated August 1st, 2017.
Now, this is important.
12 months later, in April of 2018, the president denied anything about it. In April of 2018.
So, Connor, that's where the legality comes in. When you are a president, you're not allowed to lie under oath. So that's the smoking gun. But listen, that's not even all of it. That's just the beginning. When now see, this is the thing. This is just the prequel to the testimony. This is just the documentation, the receipts, the written prequel to the testimony. When you guys see what Cohen says and what he shows, it's going to be ridiculous.
President Trump was flying on Air Force One when a reporter asked him the question, did you know about a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? The answer was, quote, no. A month after that, the president admitted to making payments to Mr. Cohen, but claimed they were part of a, quote, a monthly retainer, unquote, for legal services. This claim fell apart in August when federal prosecutors concluded, and I quote, in truth and in fact, there was no such retainer agreement, end of quote. Today, we will also hear Mr. Cohen's account of a meeting in 2016 in Donald Trump's office during which Roger Stone said over speakerphone that he had just spoken with Julian Assange, who said there would be a, quote, massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign, end of quote. According to Cohen, Mr. Trump replied, quote, wouldn't that be great, end of quote. The testimony that Michael Cohen will provide today, ladies and gentlemen, is deeply disturbing, and it should be troubling to all Americans. We will all have to make our own evaluation of the evidence and Mr. Cohen's credibility. As he admits, he has repeatedly lied in the past. I agree with Ranking Member Jordan that this is an important factor we need to weigh, but we must weigh it and we must hear from him. But where I disagree fundamentally with the ranking member involves his efforts to prevent the American people from hearing from Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen's testimony raises grave questions about the legality of President Donald Trump's conduct and the truthfulness of statements while he was president. We need to assess and investigate this new evidence as we uphold our constitutional our oversight responsibilities. And we will continue after today to gather more documents and testimony in our search for the truth. I have made it abundantly clear to Mr. Cohen that if he comes here today and he does not tell us the truth, I will be the first one to refer those untruthful statements to DOJ. So when people say he doesn't have anything to lose, he does have a lot to lose if he lies. And the American people, by the way, voted for accountability in November. And they have a right to hear Mr. Cohen in public so they can make their own judgments. Mr. Cohen's testimony is the beginning of the process, not the end. Ladies and gentlemen, the days of this committee protecting the president at all costs are over. They're over. Before I close, I want to comment about the scope of today's hearing. At the request of the House Intelligence Committee and my very good friend, Adam Schiff, Congressman Adam Schiff, the chairman, I intended, over the objections of the ranking member of our committee, to limit the scope of today's hearing to avoid questions about Russia. However, Mr. Cohen's written testimony, in his written testimony, he's made statements relating to Russia. And these are topics that we understand do not raise concern from the Department of Justice. So in fairness to the ranking member and all committee members, we will not restrict questions relating to the witness's testimony or related questions he is willing to answer. Finally, I remind members that we will need to remain mindful of those areas where there are ongoing Department of Justice investigations. Those scoping limitations have not changed. Finally, and to Mr. Cohen, Martin Luther King
someone convicted of lying to Congress has appeared again so quickly in front of Congress. Certainly it's the first time a convicted perjurer has been brought back to be a star witness in a hearing. And there's a reason this is the first.
Oh, I guess the sound went out. Sorry about that, guys. The sound went out.
Mr. Cohen here,
The sound went out.
We got lots of lawyers on this committee. This committee is actually encouraging a witness to violate attorney-client privilege. Mr. Chairman, when we legitimize dishonesty, we delegitimize.
I apologize for that, guys. The sound went out. So let's pause for a moment.
We're supposed to pursue the.
So basically what's going on now is that Mr. Jordan, this is the thing that I don't like about it, guys. The thing that I don't like about it is that Mr. Jordan, what he's doing is like he's just trying to mess up his reputation already. So this is what I'm saying. Let the man testify. In my opinion, let him testify. But I understand he's doing his job because, he has his buddies in Congress and he wants to make sure that the Republican Party is looking okay and all the other good stuff. And then he also doesn't want to make, he don't want to ruffle any feathers with Trump and whatever. But what I don't like is I don't like him kind of bullying the situation. Matter of fact, since you guys missed the sound, let's go back because the speaker was talking real good. He was speaking truth to power and he was quoting Martin Luther King. I think it was very good.
End of quote.
Yeah, he gave two quotes that I think that I'm going to be very cognitive of. One that he gave that I thought was very good was he said that in times of adversity, it's not the words of our enemies that we remember, it's the silence from our friends. I think that was so hard. That was a bar. I'm going to see if I can find that.
This is a legitimate question. As a trial lawyer for many years, I faced this situation over.
And so he was a trial lawyer as well. So that's the reason why this is important, is because as a trial lawyer, he understands the importance of being able to testify in cross-examination. This is really good, guys.
And over again, and I ask the same question. Here is how I view our role. Every one of us in this room has a duty to serve as an independent check on the executive branch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in search of the truth. The president has made many statements of his own, and now the American people have a right.
We have a right
to hear
what the other side said.
They can watch Mr. Cohen's testimony and make their own judgment. We receive a copy.
All right, guys, so let's look at these analytics. We have a total of 40, and I know it's lunchtime. We have a total of, 34 people watching live. And we have only, how many thumbs up do we have? We only have 16 thumbs up. Everybody hit the thumbs up button. Everybody hit that thumbs up button right now. If you can, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, guys.
Copy of Mr. Cohen's written statement late last night. It includes not only personal eyewitness accounts of meetings with Donald Trump as president inside the Oval Office, but it also includes documents and other corroborating evidence of some of Mr. Cohen's statements. For example, Mr. Cohen has provided a copy of a check sent while President Trump was in office with Donald Trump's signature on it.
Did I go back too far?
Mr. Cohen,
I think I went back too far.
hush money payment to Stormy Daniels.
Yep, I went back too far.
This is new evidence.
Yep, I went back too far.
Investigations.
Let's go fast forward.
Scoping limitations have not. Strict questions. November. And they have a right to hear Mr. Cohen in public so they can make their own judgments. Mr. Cohen.
Sorry about that, guys. This is live. I had to go take care of something.
Ladies and gentlemen, the days of this committee protecting the president at all costs are over.
Yes, sir.
They're over. Before I close, I want to comment about the scope of today's.
Come on, Reverend. Come on and close that door, Reverend.
At the request of the House Intelligence Committee, and my very good friend, Adam Schiff, Congressman Adam Schiff, the chairman, I intended, over the objections of the ranking member of our committee, to limit the scope of today's hearing to avoid questions about Russia. However,
so this is what's making the MAGA people so afraid. So for everyone that's wanted to know what's understanding what was going on and why these MAGA people are so frustrated and afraid is because before they were not going to allow Cohen to talk about questions about collusion with Russia. But now they're allowing him to, which is very important and very huge, is because that's why, this is the reason why Cohen, in my personal opinion, the reason why Cohen flipped and snitched on Trump is because Trump never thought he was going to be the president. And so Cohen never thought he was going to be the president either. They were in this for the money, and they're going to talk about this because I did see that part, and that's when I was like, man, let me stop what I'm doing and let me do a commentary on this because this is huge. I feel like this is a cornerstone moment in the United States of America because, and when you listen to what Cohen says, Cohen is just telling the truth. I believe everything he says is very truthful. I'm gonna let you guys get to it in a moment, but I think one thing that he said is very true, very good, is when he says that we're not, the days of protecting Trump at all costs are over. And so Cohen is gonna testify. And I think that's the main reason why he's testifying, because he's not gonna get a deal. He's going to prison for 2 years anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Mr. Cohen's written testimony, in his written testimony, he's made statements relating to Russia. And these are topics.
So once again, this is why the people, the MAGA country, this is why MAGA country is so they shaking in their boots. And if you are a MAGA supporter, hit hashtag MAGA in the comments. I mean, you know, we can have a healthy conversation. If you are a MAGA supporter, do hashtag MAGA in the comments. There's nothing wrong with you believing what you believe.
We understand do not raise concerns from the Department of Justice. So in fairness to the ranking member and all committee members, we will not restrict questions relating to the witness's testimony or related questions he is willing to answer. Finally, I remind members that we will need to remain mindful of those areas where there are ongoing Department of Justice investigations. Those scoping limitations have not changed. Finally, and to Mr. Cohen, Martin Luther King, Mr. Cohen, said some words that I leave with you today before you testify. He said, faith is taking the first step, even when you can't see the whole staircase.
I thought that was good. I'd never heard that quote by Martin Luther King before, and that's why I wanted to replay it for that very reason, because I think when the sound went out, that's when he said that. He said that, I like that. Faith is taking the first step when you can't see the staircase. I never heard that before. But that second quote, I'm definitely going to be using that second quote. Listen to this.
There comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. Our lives begin to end. Today we become silent about things that truly matter. In the end, he says, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And with that, I yield to the distinguished gentleman, the ranking member of our committee, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Elijah Cummings, we just saw Michael Cohen caught up with some emotion as the chairman quoted Martin Luther King to him.
I like that a lot. It's not the
ranking Republican on the committee, Jim Jordan. Let's tune in again.
First big hearing, your first announced witness, Michael Cohen. I want everyone in this room to think about this. The first announced witness for the 116th Congress is the guy who is going to prison in 2 months for lying to Congress. Mr. Chairman, your chairmanship will always be identified with this hearing.
Like, don't threaten me. Like, why are you threatening me? Talking about some, your chairmanship is going to be identified. Yes, it's the cornerstone of when we got Trump up out of here. Yeah, don't threaten. I hate when people do that. Like, don't threaten me. I know what I'm doing. Don't do that. It's that dog whistle stuff that these Republicans be doing that really bothers me.
And we all need to understand what this is. This is the Michael Cohen hearing presented by Lanny Davis. That's right. Lanny Davis choreographed the whole darn thing. The Clinton's best friend, loyalist, operative, Lanny Davis put this all together. You know how we know? He told our staff. He told the committee staff. He said the hearing was his idea. He selected this committee. He had to talk Michael Cohen into coming. And most importantly, he had to persuade the chairman to actually have it. He told us it took 2 months to get that job done, but here we are. He talked him into it. This might be the first time someone convicted of lying to Congress has appeared again so quickly in front of Congress. Certainly, it's the first time a convicted perjurer has been brought back to be a star witness in a hearing. And there's a reason this is the first, because no other committee would do it.
That's crazy.
Think about this, with Mr. Cohen here.
But the thing about it, though, is this. Regardless, this is unprecedented. We've never had a president to be so corrupt. And so that's the reason why he's saying, oh, no other person would bring. And that's one of the things, too, that a lot of the MAGA supporters and Trump supporters and a lot of the right-wing outright, I got to make sure I say it the right way, a lot of these right-wing outright supporters, they want to abide by the rules when it's good for them. But then they don't want to abide by the rules when it's good when it's good for the other side. And it's not black or white, it's about Republican or Democrat. I don't even believe it's that. I believe it's about right and wrong. If you agree with me, I want you to say, I agree. I don't believe it has anything to do with black versus white, Republican versus Democrat. I have to believe in the fact that it is right versus wrong. I don't consider myself a Democrat. I'm definitely not a Republican. I consider myself a bipartisan. I believe in the policy that's going to be best for me and my family, as well as for the, and I don't even consider myself an independent. I'm just a bipartisan. I believe in the policy that's best for me and my people and my immediate family, because politics, that's how I vote based on my needs. That's how you should vote based on your needs. So let's go ahead and see. And thank you guys so much for participating with me and commenting with me as well. Yeah, he's trying to mess up his credibility. Absolutely. D-Boy Sanchez, yep, he trying to mess up his credibility. Odyssey says, I agree. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. Absolutely. I'm looking at you guys' comments right now. All right, so let's go ahead and look into it.
This committee, we got lots of lawyers on this committee. This committee is actually encouraging a witness to violate attorney-client privilege. Mr. Chairman, when we legitimize dishonesty, we delegitimize this.
All right, Gus says you agree. Thank you so much for that, Gus. I appreciate that.
But you have stacked the deck against the truth. We're only allowed to ask certain questions. Even with that amendment you just told us about, well, Russia's now on the table. You initially told us we can't ask questions.
So check this out. All right, so Carolina Kid says, this man lost pretty much everything from his opening his Pandora's box. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It says that this man lost pretty much everything. Now he's opening. Okay, now he's opening Pandora's box. Okay, I guess now he's opening Pandora's box. Okay, I agree. All right, so D-Boy Sanchez, you agree as well? I agree 100%. All right, so Connor says, where's the crime? Connor, keep watching. You're going to see the crime, Connor. Connor, keep watching. You're going to see it. And this is the thing, Connor. It's okay to be ignorant. There's some things that I am ignorant of. There's a lot of things I'm ignorant of. And it's okay. Ignorance is a form of life. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to have blind ignorance. You're going to see what the legalities are. You're going to see what's illegal and what's not illegal. Like, for instance, you talk about it's not illegal to hire an escort. Yes, it is. And then you say it's not illegal for Trump to pay her. Yes, it is, when he's the president, and the funds that are allocated for his campaign, he uses to pay off a witness. And then also the third thing is called witness tampering. So open up your eyes. Now listen, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to believe in Trump if that's what you want to do, Colin. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to believe in the Republican Party if that's what you want to do. But it is something wrong if you are arguing facts, especially when they're right in front of you. That shows a sign of ignorance. It doesn't show a sign of superiority. It shows a sign of ignorance. And I want to have these type of conversations, Colin, and anybody else that wants to chime in, we can talk about it. We don't have to be deprivating. You know, when we talk about it, we can talk about it and we can go back and forth, but you can't deny a fact, because what happens is that when you're in the midst of intelligent people, right now there's a room full of intelligent people watching live, and then you begin to blind and you can't even agree to a statement, then that shows your ignorance. Like, for instance, I can agree to the fact that President Trump has helped the economy because of Obama's backing. But I can't say, well, I hate Trump and there's no, that's foolish, because Trump has done some things that has helped the economy. But at the same time, I feel like he's done more damage than he's done good. I think that it's okay for you to admit when somebody you like is wrong. And it's okay for you to admit when somebody you dislike is right. You guys are with me. If you guys are with me and you guys want me to continue, I want everyone to say with you. I want you guys to participate with me. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to participate with me as if you are watching me live. All right? So if you guys are with me and want me to continue, I want you to say with you. All right? If you're with me, I want you to say with you. Let's go ahead and get some participation up, guys. I know you guys are watching and I appreciate you watching. I want you guys to participate with me as well. All right, so someone says, Cott says, your opinion doesn't even matter if you think being an escort is illegal. I'm sorry. Okay, well, Colin, that's definitely, you're entitled to your opinion, buddy. Okay, so first person to say that with me is Lakeisha. Lakeisha says she's with me. Thank you so much for that, Lakeisha. All right, Prince says he's with me. Thank you so much for that. Odyssey is with me. Thank you for that. Timothy is with me. Lewis is with me. Thank you for that. All right, the Fixer Man is with me. Thank you so much for that. D-Boy is with me. Tony is with me. Book Shotters is with me. Thank you guys so much for that. So let's go ahead and get into this.
About the special counsel, can't ask questions about the Southern District of New York, can't ask questions about Russia. Nope. Only subjects we can talk about are ones you think are going to be harmful to the President of the United States. And the answers to those questions are going to come from a guy who can't be trusted.
I wonder how much Mr. Jordan is getting paid.
What the attorney said about Mr. Cohen. While Mr. Cohen enjoyed a privileged life, his desire for ever greater wealth and influence precipitated an extensive course of criminal conduct. Mr. Cohen committed four distinct federal crimes over a period of several years. He was motivated to do so by personal greed and repeatedly used his power and influence for deceptive ends, but the Democrats don't care. They don't care. They just want to use you, Mr. Cohen.
See, this is the thing that gets me. So check my man out. So he was like, the Democrats don't care. They just want to use you. That's not true. We want, like I said, I believe in justice. And so this individual, Mr. Jordan, he's doing a very, I'm going to let you guys get into it. A part of me stopping this is because of copyright issues, and also I'm giving my commentary. But also, I want you guys to look and notice how they posture. He's about to be very disrespectful to the chair, the party chair. And is he being disrespectful because he's African American, or is he being disrespectful because he's Democrat? Watch what happens. And you guys tell me, why do you think he's being disrespectful? Watch this.
You're their patsy today. They got to find somebody, somewhere, to say something so they can try to remove the president from office. Because Tom Steyer told him to. Tom Steyer, last week, organized a town hall. Guess where? Chairman Nadler's district in Manhattan. 2 nights ago, Tom Steyer organized a town hall. Guess where? Chairman Cummings' district in Baltimore. The best they can find to start this process, Michael Cohen. Fraudster, cheat, convicted felon, and in 2 months a federal inmate. Well, actually, they didn't find him. Laney Davis found him. I'll say one thing about the Democrats. They stick to the playbook. Remember how all this started. The Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Glenn Simpson, who hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who put together the fake dossier that the FBI used to go get a warrant to spy on the Trump campaign. But when that whole scheme failed, and the American people said, we're going to make Donald Trump president, they said, we got to do something else. So now, Clinton loyalist, Clinton operative Laney Davis has persuaded the chairman of the Oversight Committee to give a convicted felon a forum to tell stories and lie about the President of the United States so they can all start their impeachment process. Mr. Chairman, we are better than this. We are better than this. I yield back.
All right, now watch this. Now this is very important, guys, so check this out so that you guys can follow this. He says, I yield back, right? He says, I yield back. That means that he has stopped his statements. He's no longer allowed to address the committee because he says, I yield back. Now watch what happens.
I wanted to know.
Mr. Chairman, actually, I have a motion.
Back.
I have a motion.
Gentlemen, I
Motion
recognize you.
Motion under Rule 2K6 of Rule 11.
You yielded back, sir.
See, he yielded back.
Sir, you yielded back.
Mr. Chairman, you took 7 minutes. I took 4.
Well,
See how they do it? Well, you did this. Not that they want to break the rules when it applies to them, but then they want to stick to the rules with everyone else.
the gentleman yielded back.
That's how you're going to operate? First, you don't follow the rules, and now you're going to say...
Look at this sister. Look at this sister right here. She looks so perplexed. Hold on for a second. I ain't never done. Look at that. She like, what the world? Look at her. Look at that sister right there. Who is that? I don't know her name. Her name is Plaskett. She was like, what is going on here? Plaskett, wait, look at the sister. Sister Plaskett, she's like, what the world? She like, what the world going on here? Because what he's doing is so rude, it's wrong, it's unethical. Like he yielded back the floor and now he's being disrespectful to the speaker. So my question to you is this. Is he being disrespectful because he is a Republican? Is he being disrespectful because he is a Democrat? Is he being disrespectful because he is a Democrat and the speaker is a Republican? Or is he being disrespectful because he's African American? What do you guys think? Let's look at it some more. You tell me what you think.
You don't get, you get to deviate from the rules.
Regular order.
I just have a simple motion, Mr.
You see, the sister, she was like, call it to order. Because she feels the same thing. Like, this is live, guys. She's like, call it to order. Look at her, look at how disrespectful this is. Why do you think he's disrespectful? Do you think he's disrespectful because he is a Democrat and he's a Republican? Is he being disrespectful because he's African American? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Tell me what you think. Or if you don't think he's disrespectful, I want you to say he's not. So 2 words. 1, if he is disrespectful because he's black, I want you to say he's black. If he's being disrespectful because he's a Democrat, I want you to say he's a Democrat. If you don't think that he's being disrespectful, I want you to say he's not. And you tell me what you think. I'm reading your guys' comments. All right, so Odyssey says both. That's very interesting. AKA gave me the thumbs up. Okay, so Odyssey's giving me the LOL. So D-Boy says all of the above. Trucker, what's that? Trucker half. What is that? I just say Trucker Johnson. I just say Johnson says both. All right, Vashawn is with me. That's good stuff. All right, so Patricia thinks, or Prince thinks, that's Prince Spree? I just say Prince. Prince thinks it's because he's African American. That's good stuff. Yeah, that's good. I think it's I think it's I think it's because I think it's both. He's been very disrespectful for no reason. I think he's upset. I think he's angry because these MAGA supporters, this is their day in court. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he seems so much more emboldened because of what his superhero Trump does to minorities. I think that's the reason why. Let's get into it some more because we haven't even got to the good part yet. Ooh, we haven't even got to the good part yet.
Well, we're watching the sausage.
Regular order to have the testimony 24 hours in advance.
Excuse me. I wanted to know.
Look at that sister. She is upset. Who was that? Miss Plaskett? Miss Plaskett. That's my new superhero right there. I like Miss Plaskett. Miss Plaskett is very upset. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Plaskett is like, wow. Because he yielded the floor, and after he yielded the floor, then he's trying to come back and be combative. I think what they're trying to do is trying to deflect from Cohen's testimony. You see how hard they are trying to get Cohen not to speak? Trump, baby, your day is numbered, baby. Just like R. Kelly day is numbered, Trump day is a number. I think his day is a number.
11, clause 4, all media and photographers must be officially credentialed to record these proceedings and take photographs. I also wanted to briefly address the spectators in the hearing room today. We welcome you and we respect your right to be here. We also ask in turn for your respect as we proceed with the business of the committee today. It is the intention of the committee to proceed without any disruptions. Any disruptions of this committee will result in the United States Capitol Police restoring order and their...
So they think that they're going to get some type of rally on their hands. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Like I said, I started watching it and then I said, you know what, I want to commentate this live. So I don't know. So all I have seen is up until what I've just shown you guys. Okay. So from here on out, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm watching it live just like you guys are watching it live.
The protesters will be removed and we are grateful for your presence here today and your cooperation. Now I want to welcome Mr. Cohen and thank him for participating in today's hearing. Mr. Cohen, if you would please rise and I will begin to swear you in.
He's about to go down.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. And thank you, and you may be seated. The microphone. All
right, guys, I want all of you guys right now to hit that share button and hit that like button. We have a total of 42 people watching live in the middle of the day. I know it's lunchtime. This is very impromptu. I want everyone to share this right now. Share this on Twitter. Share this in your private Facebook groups. Share this in a group chat. I want everyone to hit the like button. Right now we have a total of only 36 likes. So the rest of you guys, go ahead and hit that like button right now. Go ahead and hit that like button. Ooh, this is about to get good, yeah.
So please speak directly.
Ooh, this is going to get good.
Without objection, your written statement will be made a part of the record. With that, Mr. Cohen, you are now recognized to give an oral presentation of your testimony. Is your mic on?
Yes. Chairman Cummings, Ranking Member Jordan, and members of the committee, thank you for inviting me here today. I have asked this committee to ensure that my family be protected from presidential threats and that the committee be sensitive to the questions pertaining to ongoing investigations. I thank you for your help and for your understanding. I am here under oath to correct the record, to answer the committee's questions truthfully, and to offer the American people what I know about President Trump. I recognize.
All right, guys, this is about to go down. Listen, it is about to go down. He's about to testify, he's about to snitch, he's about to tell everything. I want all of you guys to hit that like button right now. Like, and share this right now. And I want to read some of you guys' comments while we wait for you guys' likes to come up. So somebody gave me a very good compliment, and I appreciate that. It was D-Boy says, I wish somebody like you, Rizza Islam, or Tariq Nasheed was on that panel. His energy would be very different. I really do appreciate that because I do respect those individuals, and I believe that they are pillars in the African American community, and I appreciate that. I do think that his energy will be a lot different, especially because individuals like Rizza Islam is so intelligent but very unapologetic. Tariq Nasheed is intelligent, but he has the ability to curse a lot of times and clown, which takes away from the potency of his words. That's one of the things that I do like, the fact that I can discourse, make somebody feel bad, and not have to denigrate or deride. I don't have to curse them out in order to do that. So let's go ahead and look at some other comments. So somebody said this. Go ahead and hit these likes, guys. We're about to get to this testimony, but I want you guys to share this and hit that like button, okay? We're already at 50. See, because you guys liked it and shared it, now we're at 50. We're about to get to the testimony. Somebody said this, and I believe it's true, and I'm being politically correct when I say this. So Tony Smith says, us as blacks, we have to be careful when we say minority. I understand that. But because we're talking specifically about Trump, because what Trump does, he does talk down to minorities. Caucasian women are considered minorities. He believes that he should grab them by the pussy. You understand what I'm saying? Words mean things, and I don't want to discredit myself, because what happens is that when you begin to spin a certain narrative and don't speak truth to power, that's why I call it truth to power. So when I say he does talk against minorities, he do. Donald Trump is I believe he is the epitome of bigotry. He talks down to all minorities because him being a card-carrying member and the poster child of the dominant society, a Caucasian born into wealth man, he is betraying so much bigotry. He talks down to Caucasian women. He believes that they are objects, that he can grab them by their genitalia. He talks down to Latinos. He talks down to Asians. He makes fun of Asians, especially African Americans. He calls them my African Americans or my blacks, and he speaks down to them. So the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not talking about minorities only meaning African Americans. I'm talking about minorities, period, because remember, as a business coach and a life coach, I teach and I coach everyone. I have clients from all walks of life. And that's one of the differences, I think, between me and a lot of other pro-blacks. Some people say, oh, I only deal with black people. No, I deal with people that want to be successful and entrepreneurs. And so I deal with people from all diasporas. At the same time, I know that my anointed is activated more, and I'm called specifically to the African American community, all right? So if you guys are ready, for me to go ahead and break this down, and let's go ahead and look at this. I want everyone to say ready. Let's go ahead and get to this. All right, so we have a total of 50 people watching live. Because you guys hit that share button, I appreciate that. And the likes, let's see where we at with the likes. So far, we have a total of 43 likes. Okay, the rest can be MAGA supporters or haters. I can appreciate that. Let's get to it.
Recognize that some of you may doubt and attack me on my credibility.
Let's break it down again. Hold on, you already getting to it. Let's get to it. Ah!
Sir, the committee's
Let's get to it. This is good. This is gonna be so good.
Of your testimony.
This is gonna be so good.
Is your mic on?
Yes. Chairman Cummings, Ranking Member Jordan, and members of the committee, thank you for inviting me here today. I have asked this committee to ensure that my family be protected from presidential threats and that the committee be sensitive to the questions pertaining to ongoing investigations. I thank you for your help and for your understanding. I am here under oath to correct the record, to answer the committee's questions truthfully, and to offer the American people what I know about President Trump. I recognize that some of you may doubt and attack me on my credibility. It is for this reason that I have incorporated into this opening statement documents that are irrefutable and demonstrate
Irrefutable.
the information you will hear is accurate and truthful. Never in a million years did I imagine, when I accepted a job in 2007 to work for Donald Trump, that he would one day run for the presidency.
And I think that's very real. I think that's a very real statement, guys. So this is the thing about it. I feel like Cohen didn't think that Trump was going to run for president. So Cohen is just a attorney trying to make money off of millions and off of millionaires and being opportunistic. I think that he did have a awakening of his conscience. That's why I believe he's testifying, because he doesn't get anything out of testifying. He's already going to jail for 2 years. He's not getting, the best thing is that he can get a book deal, you know what I'm saying? But there's nothing he gets out of testifying. So I think that he has just gotten an awakening of consciousness, in my opinion.
To launch a campaign on a platform of hate and intolerance and actively win. I regret the day I said yes to Mr. Trump. I regret all the help and support I gave him along the way. I'm ashamed of my own failings and publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty, of the things I did for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect and promote him. I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
This is coming from his attorney, his trusted attorney. And I think another reason too, because Trump let him out there to twist in the wind. You know, so you got to take care of your running buddies. But Trump didn't do that. But I think that this is true. He is a racist, he's a con man, and he is a, did he say crook? What did he say? Let's back that mud back one more again, shout him.
And publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty, of the things I did for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect and promote him. I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
Cheat, racist, con man, and cheat.
He was a presidential candidate who knew that Roger Stone was talking with Julian Assange about a WikiLeaks drop on Democratic National Committee emails. And I will explain each in a few moments.
He about to tell it all. Listen, he about to tell it, he about to show it. This is good.
I am providing the committee today with several documents.
Receipts.
And these include copy of a check Mr. Trump wrote from his personal bank account after he became president to reimburse me for the hush money payments I made to cover up his affair with an adult film star and to prevent damage to his campaign.
So let me add some redress to this situation so you guys can understand the magnitude of this. Cohen is an attorney. So that's what makes him, even though they tried to take away his credibility, he is yet still an attorney. And an attorney is looked at to be above reproach. And so that's the reason why the magnitude of this testimony is so huge, and why the MAGA supporters are shaking in their boots, because they know that if you get an attorney to talk and testify, because they understand what it means to perjure yourself under oath. That's the reason why. So when the gentleman, I assume it's a gentleman, is saying what's wrong with him paying for a prostitute and all this other stuff, is because Cohen is explaining he's doing this while he's the president. So let's get into it some more, guys. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time. Like I said, this is my first time watching this too. So I am excited. Up until this point, I've seen other stuff, but this is all new. Look at this. Receipts for days.
Copies of financial statements from 2011,
Ooh, his
2012,
finances.
and 2013 that he gave to such institutions such as Deutsche Bank. A copy of an article with Mr. Trump's handwriting on it that reported on the auction of a portrait of himself that he arranged for the bidder ahead of time and then reimbursed the bidder from the account of his nonprofit charitable foundation.
Boom. So when we talk about what things are illegal, that's called misappropriations of funds. So basically what he did was he got somebody to bid at his nonprofit. So let's just use round numbers. So let's say, for instance, if Trump wanted $100,000 cash. Well, if you're raising money for your nonprofit, you're not allowed to get that cash. So what he did was he got his homeboy to bid on this for $100,000. And then he gave his homeboy the $100,000 back so he can boost up his income. So when you ask, so when someone's asking, like when Connor is asking what's illegal, when an attorney is stating these things, these are the illegal things, and this is the reason why these MAGA supporters are shaking in their boots right now. I'm just teaching truth to power.
With the picture now hanging in one of his country clubs. And copies of letters I wrote at Mr. Trump's direction that threatened his high school, colleges, and the college board not to release his grades or SAT scores. I hope my appearance here today, my guilty plea, and my work with law enforcement agencies are steps along a path of redemption that will restore faith in me and help this country understand our president better. And before going further, I want to apologize to each member, to you as Congress as a whole. The last time I appeared before Congress, I came to protect Mr. Trump. Today, I am here to tell the truth about Mr. Trump.
Hold on for a second. Somebody just said something I thought was a real good comment. So I'm reading you guys' comment. So Eric Whaley says, the folk that can't see the crime will never see what the crime is. I guess it got backwards. But basically, what he says is, for the folks that can't see the crime will never see what the crime is. I agree with you on that. I think that it's about being someone's perspective and being someone's perspective of things. And I appreciate that. Somebody just said that they came in to see what my perspective was on the black hand side. So Ronald Haskins, thanks so much for watching. Ronald, make sure you hit that like button and go ahead and share this. And so all the and we having a healthy conversation in the comments. If you are a MAGA supporter, talk about it and we can talk about it. If you are against MAGA, talk about it. If you are a Republican, let's talk about it. If you are a Democrat, let's talk about it. There's nothing wrong with healthy conversation.
I lied to Congress when Mr. Trump stopped negotiating the Moscow Tower project in Russia. I stated that we stopped negotiating in January of 2016. That was false. Our negotiations continued for months later during the campaign. Mr. Trump did not directly tell me to lie to Congress. That's not how he operates. In conversations we had during the campaign, At the same time, I was actively negotiating in Russia for him. He would look me in the eye and tell me there's no Russian business, and then go on to lie to the American people by saying the same thing. In his way, he was telling me to lie. There were at least a half a dozen times between the Iowa caucus in January of 2016 and the end of June when he would ask me, how's it going in Russia? Referring to the Moscow Tower project. You need to know that Mr. Trump's personal lawyers reviewed and edited my statement to Congress about the timing of the Moscow Tower negotiations.
Watch this. This is important.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump knew of and directed the Trump-Moscow negotiations throughout the campaign and lied about it.
This is important.
He lied about it because he never expected to win. He also lied about it because he stood to make hundreds of millions of dollars on the Moscow real estate project. And so I lied about it too. Because Mr. Trump had made clear to me, through his personal statements to me, that we both knew to be false, and through his lies to the country, that he wanted me to lie. And he made it clear to me because his personal attorneys reviewed my statement before I gave it to Congress. Over the past 2 years, I have been smeared as a rat by the President of the United States. The truth is much different. And let me take a brief moment to introduce myself.
He said, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hov. He said, allow me to introduce myself. Listen, let me tell you why I believe everything that he's saying. Because Trump never thought he was going to win. There's no reason why Trump should have won. Because his entire campaign, his entire rhetoric was non-political. He knew he wasn't qualified, but he was running for exposure. I believe this 100% because I have a friend of mine. He ran for city councilman, and he said that it was one of the best things he ever did for his private practice because he got so much exposure because everybody knew who he was in the city, because it's basically free publicity. It's free speaking engagements, and you get people you raise money, and then you get people, and you're basically advertising with other people's money. So he never, and I believe that to be true because I was joking around when I had my radio show. I was joking around about running for Congress. I was thinking about running for Congress because the Congressman Hank Aaron is an idiot, in my opinion. And I was thinking about running, and he was like, Dean, it's a win-win situation if you run. He said, if you run, you win. Everybody knows who you are. You get clout, and you get position. He says, if you run and you lose, everybody knows who you are. You get clout, and your business grows. So I believe this 100%. I don't believe that he thought that he was going to win. And that's the reason why I believe he's having this conviction of consciousness and why he's testifying. I believe this.
My name is Michael Dean Cohen, and I am a blessed husband of 24 years and a father to an incredible daughter and son. When I married my wife, I promised her that I would love her, I would cherish her, and I would protect her. As my father said countless times throughout my childhood, you, my wife, and you, my children.
Also, look, somebody just made a real good comment. Who was that? There was Carolina Kid said, and it wasn't his first time doing this tactic either. It wasn't his first time doing this tactic. That's very, very true. When he was in New York and he was getting involved with politics, he was going back and forth with the mayor. Right when the mayor that he really liked a lot, I can't remember his name, god dang it. I'm unprepared. Like I said, this is live. I'm unprepared for this. But yeah, he used that tactic before because it's a very good tactic. It's a great tactic. But he didn't think he was going to win, and he's not qualified.
I breathe. So
good point, Carolina the Kid.
To my Sammy, and to my Jake, there's nothing I wouldn't do to protect you. I have always tried to live a life of loyalty, friendship, generosity, and compassion. It's qualities my parents ingrained in my siblings and me since childhood. My father survived the Holocaust, thanks to the compassion and selfless acts of others. He was helped by many who put themselves in harm's way to do what they knew was right. And that is why my first instinct has always been to help those in need. And Mom and Dad, I am sorry I let you down. As the many people that know me best would say, I am the person that they call at 3 a.m. if they needed help. And I proudly remember being the emergency contact.
Cohen said, I ain't gonna let y'all lie on my name.
For many of my children's friends when they were growing up, because their parents knew that I would drop everything and care for them as if they were my own. Yet last fall, I pled guilty in federal court to felonies for the benefit of, at the direction of, and in coordination with individual number 1. And for the record, individual number 1 is President Donald J. Trump. It is painful to admit that I was motivated by ambition at times. It is even more painful to admit that many times I ignored my conscience and acted loyal to a man when I should not have. Sitting here today, it seems unbelievable that I was so mesmerized by Donald Trump that I was willing to do things for him that I knew were absolutely wrong. For that reason, I have come here to apologize to my family, to my government, and to the American people. Accordingly, let me now tell you about Mr. Trump.
Here we go.
I got to know him very well, working very closely with him for more than 10 years as his executive vice president and special counsel, and then as personal attorney when he became president. When I first met Mr. Trump, he was a successful entrepreneur, a real estate giant, and an icon. Being around Mr. Trump was intoxicating. When you were in his presence, you felt like you were involved in something greater than yourself, that you were somehow changing the world. I wound up touting the Trump narrative for over a decade. That was my job. Always stay on message. Always defend. It monopolized my life. At first, I worked mostly on real estate developments and other business transactions. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Trump brought me into his personal life and private dealings. Over time, I saw his true character revealed. Mr. Trump is an enigma. He is complicated, as am I. He is both good and bad, as do we all.
Wait. Did he say good in bed or good and bad? I think he meant to say good and bad. Did he say, he didn't say good in bed. Did he say good and bad? He says, my God, have mercy on him. Absolutely, Ronnie. He telling it all. He was his attorney for 10 years. He was his friend. He telling it all. Did he say good in bed or good and bad? Let's see. I don't want to rewind it too far. Let's see. Did he say good in bed or good and bad? Which one did he say, guys? Let's rewind it.
Always defend. It monopolized my life. At first, I worked mostly on real estate developments and other business transactions. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Trump brought me into his personal life and private dealings. Over time, I saw his true character revealed. Mr. Trump is an enigma. He is complicated, as am I. He is both good and bad.
Good and bad, okay. As we all are, okay.
But the bad far outweighs the good.
And the bad outweighs the good. And that's my argument. And I feel like that's the reason why I believe what Cohen is saying 100%, because I feel the exact same way about Trump. I feel like Trump is good and bad. Like I said, as an entrepreneur and as a business coach and as a credit expert, I love Trump. But as an African-American man, as a father, as a husband, and as a as a speaker, I don't like him. I don't say I hate him, but I don't like him. And I believe that this bad far outweighs the good. That's the reason why I believe that everything he's saying is true. And that's the argument that I have with these MAGA supporters, because you cannot follow someone blindly. You can't do that. You have to be fair in dealings. And I feel like it's a miscalculated assumption for someone to say, oh, I just want to support him just because he's white, or oh, I just want to support him just because he's a Republican, or oh, I'm going to support him just because he's a businessman. No, I believe that as a human being, it is your responsibility to be able to really judge them by the fruit that they bear. The #1 best-selling book of all time that taught me to be the best business coach says that you should judge a person or a situation by the fruit that it bears, what it produces. Let me go ahead and let my man Cohen talk a little bit more, because he's preaching, talking truth to power today. Go ahead, Cohen.
In office, he has become the worst version of himself. He is. Let's back that thing up. Fundamentally disloyal. Donald Trump is a man who ran for office to make his brand great. Everything, and care for them as if they were my own. Yet last fall, I pled guilty.
Hold on, let me go back. I went back too far.
Capable of committing acts of generosity. World. I wound up touting the Trump narrative for over a decade. That was my job.
Sorry, guys, I went back too far.
Always stay on message. Always defend. It monopolized my life. At first, I worked mostly on real estate developments and other business transactions. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Trump brought me into his personal life and private dealings. Over time, I saw his true character revealed. Mr. Trump is an enigma. He is complicated, as am I. He is both good and bad, as do we all. But the bad far outweighs the good. And since taking office, he has become the worst version of himself. He is capable of behaving kindly, but he is not kind. He is capable of committing acts of generosity, but he is not generous. He is capable of being loyal, but he is fundamentally disloyal. Donald Trump is a man who ran for office to make his brand great. Not to make our country great. He had no desire or intention to lead this nation. Only to market himself and to build his wealth and power.
I told you.
Mr. Trump would often say, this campaign was going to be the greatest infomercial in political history.
Boom! See, I told you. I told you. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that. I think that he is correct. I think that he is 100% correct. Trump never thought that he was going to win. It was nothing but an infomercial. They were caught off guard. I agree with that 100%. He just said that, let's see if I could go back. He just said that this campaign was nothing but an infomercial. I agree with that 1,000%. Man, I agree with that 1,000%, especially because, like I mentioned before, I was faced with a similar situation with running for Congress. It was presented to me that way, that I could run, whether I win or not. And I believe them 100% when he says that.
He never expected to win the primary, but he is fundamentally disloyal.
I agree. Let's hear that again.
Donald Trump is a man who ran for office to make his brand great.
So let's do a temperature check. Do you agree with that? Do you think he thought he was going to win? If you think that he wanted to be the president, I want you to say president. One word, president. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to participate with me. If you think that he was just running for clout, I want you to say clout. If you think he was running to become the president, if he really wanted to be the president, I want you to say president. If you think he was running for clout, I want you to say clout. And if you guys don't know what clout is a African-American colloquialism that means for fame as well as notoriety. So that's what clout is. It is another word for influence and power for the individuals who might not understand the colloquialism clout. So if you think he was running for fame, or if you think he was running for clout, I want you to say clout. If you think he was running to be the president, I want you to say president. Okay, and even if you're watching on the replay, participate with us and hit that live chat so you can kind of see other people's thoughts as well. So let's see. First person to comment was Ronald. Ronald says clout. Thank you for participating. D-Boy says clout. Odyssey says clout. Lewis says clout. The CAD aficionado says clout. Thank you so much for participating. Yeah, I think he was running for clout. I personally think he was running for clout. I don't believe he was running to be president.
Great. He had no desire or intention to lead this nation, only to market himself and to build his wealth and power. Mr. Trump would often say this campaign was going to be the greatest infomercial in political history. He never expected to win the primary. He never expected to win the general election. The campaign, for him, was always a marketing opportunity.
I believe that 100%.
I knew early on in my work for Mr. Trump that he would direct me to lie to further his business interests.
Mm-hmm.
And I am ashamed to say that when it was for a real estate mogul in the private sector, I considered it trivial. As the president, I consider it significant and dangerous.
And that's why I think he is testifying. For that very reason, I agree 100%.
But in the mix, lying for Mr. Trump was normalized, and no one around him questioned it. In fairness, no one around him today questions it either. A lot of people have asked me about whether Mr. Trump knew about the release of the hacked documents, Democratic National Committee email, ahead of time. And the answer is yes. As I earlier stated, Mr. Trump knew from Roger Stone in advance about the WikiLeaks drop of emails. In July of 2016, days before the Democratic convention, I was in Mr. Trump's office when his secretary announced that Roger Stone was on the phone. Mr. Stone on the speakerphone. Mr. Stone told Mr. Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange, and that Mr. Assange told Mr. Stone that within a couple of days, there would be a massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign. Mr. Trump responded by stating to the effect, "Wouldn't that be great?" Mr. Trump is a racist. The country has seen Mr. Trump court white supremacists and bigots. You have heard him call poorer countries shitholes. In private, he is even worse. He once asked me if I could name a country run by a black person that isn't a shithole. This was when Barack Obama was president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that...
Hold on. Cohen ain't playing no games. Cohen telling the truth. Cohen done had a conviction of conscience and he's snitching. Cohen telling it like it T.I. is. He is talking. Cohen talking. Go ahead, Cohen.
Only black people could live that way.
Wow.
And he told me that black people would never vote for him because they were too stupid. And yet, I continued to work for him. Mr. Trump is a cheat. As previously stated, I am giving to the committee today 3 years of Mr. Trump's personal financial statements, 2011, 2012, and 2013, which he gave to Deutsche Bank to inquire about a loan to buy the Buffalo Bills and to Forbes. These are exhibits 1A, 1B, and 1C to my testimony.
Hold on for a moment, guys. I got to use this as an opportunity to teach as a business consultant. Hold on for a second, guys. So, as a business coach, I want to use this as an opportunity to teach. This is a a P&L, profit and loss statement. So when you are applying for certain loans, you're able to build business credit that's 100% separate from your personal credit. So someone asked me about our shelf corporations, and with the shelf corporations, this is the strategy that's used when you use a P&L. You don't, when you have your, if you have a attorney and or a tax professional prepare for you a profit and loss statement, there are lenders like Deutsche Bank, American Express, Discover, a lot of tech corps will give you funding based on the age of your business as well as your P&L, your profit and loss statement. So what this is right here, I'm about to bring it back up on the screen so you guys can understand the importance of a P&L. So this right here is a good P&L. Let me bring this up so you guys can see this very, very good. Give me a second, guys. Not the lower third. Where's the fair use? Get rid of fair use. Boom. And make this good and big. So this right here is what profit and loss statements look like. So in my course, in our online course, oh my bad, I hadn't got it on the screen. Give me a moment. So this is what good profit and loss statements look like, guys. So in our course, we talk about how you're able to build business credit that's separate from your personal credit. And this is advanced development right here. When you get a age shelf corporation and you have your attorney and or your CPA provide your profit and loss statements, it allows you to get funding, and it doesn't have to be filed with the IRS. It just needs to be signed and or stamped by a CPA or an attorney, and it is as good as gold. If you guys got that, I want you to say got it, okay? If you guys got that, I want you to say got it. Let's get back to things. If you got it, I want you to say got it, all right? I wanted to use that as an opportunity to teach. But if you got it, I want you to say got it, all right?
My experience that Mr. Trump inflated his total assets when it served his purposes, such as trying to be listed amongst the wealthiest people in Forbes, and deflated his assets to reduce his real estate taxes.
That's just the game of business, to be honest.
For articles, side by side, that are examples of Mr. Trump inflating and deflating his assets, as I said, to suit his financial interests. These are Exhibit 2 to my testimony. As I noted, I'm giving the committee today an article he wrote on and sent to me that reported on an auction of a portrait of Mr. Trump. This is Exhibit 3A to my testimony. Mr. Trump directed me to find a straw bidder to purchase a portrait of him that was being auctioned off at an Art Hamptons event. The objective was to ensure that this portrait, which was going to be auctioned last, would go for the highest price of any portrait that afternoon. The portrait was purchased by the fake bidder for $60,000. Mr. Trump directed the Trump Foundation, which is supposed to be a charitable organization, to repay the fake bidder, despite keeping the art for himself. And please see Exhibit 3B to my testimony. And it should come as no surprise that one of my more common responsibilities was that Mr. Trump directed me to call business owners, many of whom are small businesses that were owed money for their services, and told them that no payment or a reduced payment would be coming. When I asked Mr. Trump, or when I told Mr. Trump of my success, he actually reveled in it. And yet, I continued to work for him. Mr. Trump is a con man. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair, and to lie about it to his wife, which I did. And lying to the First Lady is one of my biggest regrets, because she is a kind, good person, and I respect her greatly, and she did not deserve that. And I'm giving the committee today a copy of the $130,000 wire transfer to Miss Clifford's attorney during the closing days of the presidential campaign. It was demanded by Miss Clifford to maintain her silence about her affair with Mr. Trump. And this is Exhibit 4 to my testimony. Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being traced back to him that could negatively impact his campaign. And I did that too, without bothering to consider whether that was improper, much less whether it was the right thing to do or how would it impact me,
Odyssey
my
said,
family, and the public. And I am going to jail in part because of my
wait. Miss Odyssey said Cohen is getting cracking. Odyssey Holman, she said, oh snap, it's getting cracking. Cohen ain't playing no games.
Decision to help Mr. Trump hide that payment from the American people before they voted a few days later. As Exhibit 5A to my testimony shows, I am providing a copy of a $35,000 check that President Trump personally signed from his personal bank account on August 1st of 2017.
So
when he was president of the United States.
So somebody just asked a question, and I don't know what's going on with my mouse. I need to see what's going on. I don't think I need new batteries already. I have a wireless mouse. But somebody just asked a question. Somebody says, Ronald Haskins says, Dean, what's the reason for him snitching? The reason why he's snitching is because it's the right thing to do. I believe the reason why he's doing it is because he's had a conviction of conscience, and he, like he said, as a businessman, yeah, you cut corners. As a real estate mogul, yeah, you lie. But as a president, no. And I believe that. And this is a miscalculated assumption too. Not all Caucasian individuals like Trump, just like not all African American individuals hate Trump. Trump is, like he said, an enigma. It goes surpass your ethnos. It goes past your political standings. Trump goes into what's right and what's wrong. And I believe that the reason why the two reasons why Cohen is testifying is because thing number one, Trump left him out there. He screwed him. And also thing number two, because he realized that he is complicit into the demise of the American of the American politics, because Trump had absolutely no business being the president. So that's the reason why he's doing it. He's doing it because he snitched. I mean, it's because he feels bad and he's trying to right the wrong that he's done. Same reason why a man can love his wife and then cheat on his wife, and then he confesses to cheating. If he cheated, why he confessed to it? Because he wants to clear his conscience, and he also wants to save his wife and save his marriage. If you guys get that, I want you to say get it. If you guys understand that and you get it, I want you to say get it. The same reason why a woman can end up cheating on her husband, knowing good and doggone well she got that work husband, and she let him go down on her, or whatever the situation was, and then she ends up telling on herself, because she wanted to clear her conscience. Nobody knew. Like the guy, he probably was a truck driver. He probably was riding heavy. You know, he going from coast to coast. He didn't need to know that his wife was letting some other man perform oral on her. But she said it because of the conscience. She cleared her conscience. If you get it, I want you to say get it. If you guys get it, I want you to say get it. All right, thanks so much for that. Odyssey Holman says get it. All right, My Lady Dispatching says got it. Ronald says it's because the money stopped. I don't believe it was because the money stopped. I think it's because, like I just gave my definition, the reason why. Let's go ahead and keep moving forward, because he's telling it all. This is like Watergate.
Pursuant to the cover-up, which was the basis of my guilty plea, to reimburse me, the word used by Mr. Trump's TV lawyer for the illegal hush money I paid on his behalf. This $35,000 check was one of 11 check installments that was paid throughout the year while he was president. Other checks to reimburse me for the hush money payments were signed by Donald Trump Jr., and Alan Weisselberg. And see for that example 5B. The President of the United States thus wrote a personal check for the payment of hush money as part of a criminal scheme to violate campaign finance laws. And you can find the details of that scheme directed by Mr. Trump in the pleadings in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. So picture this scene. In February of 2017, 1 month into his presidency, I'm visiting President Trump in the Oval Office for the first time, and it's truly awe-inspiring. He's showing me all around and pointing to different paintings, and he says to me something to the effect of, "Don't worry, Michael, your January and February reimbursement checks are coming." They were FedExed from New York, and it takes a while for that to get through the White House system. As he promised, I received the first check for the reimbursement of $70,000 not long thereafter.
Okay, guys, hold on for a second. I am not going to stop this live. I have a one-on-one consultation scheduled. I have a one-on-one consultation scheduled with Kurt at 1:30 and Mario at 3:30. I am going to push these back, guys. So I know, Kurt, if you're watching, I'm going to push this back because I really need to catch this, guys, because this is what am I trying to say? This is history in the making. That's what I was trying to say.
When I say con man, I'm talking about a man who declares himself brilliant, but directed me to threaten his high school, his colleges, and the college board to never release his grades or SAT scores. As I mentioned, I'm giving the committee today copies of a letter I sent at Mr. Trump's direction, threatening these schools with civil and criminal actions if Mr. Trump's grades or SAT scores were ever disclosed without his permission. And these are under Exhibit 6. The irony wasn't lost on me at the time that Mr. Trump, in 2011, had strongly criticized President Obama for not releasing his grades. As you can see in Exhibit 7, Mr. Trump declared, "Let him show his records," after calling President Obama a terrible student. The sad fact is that I never heard Mr. Trump say anything in private that led me to believe he loved our nation or wanted to make it better. In fact, he did the opposite. When telling me in 2008 or 2009 that he was cutting employees' salaries in half, including mine, he showed me what he claimed was a $10 million IRS tax refund. And he said that he could not believe how stupid the government was for giving someone like him that much money back. During the campaign, Mr. Trump said that he did not consider Vietnam veteran and prisoner of war Senator John McCain to be a hero because he likes people who weren't captured. At the same time, Mr. Trump tasked me to handle the negative press.
He said, "I like people that weren't captured."
His medical deferment from the Vietnam draft. Mr. Trump claimed it was because of a bone spur, but when I asked for medical records, he gave me none and said that there was no surgery. He told me not to answer the specific questions by reporters, but rather offer simply the fact that he received a medical deferment. He finished the conversation the following comment: "You think I'm stupid? I'm going to Vietnam." And I find it ironic, Mr. President, that you are in Vietnam right now.
He is in Vietnam right now.
I continue to work for him. Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
Okay.
I want to be clear, but I have my suspicions. Sometime in the summer of 2017, I read all over the media that there had been a meeting in Trump Tower in June of 2016 involving Don Jr. and others from the campaign with Russians, including a representative of the Russian government, and an email setting up the meeting with the subject line, "Dirt on Hillary Clinton." Something clicked in my mind. I remembered being in a room with Mr. Trump, probably in early June of 2016, when something peculiar happened. Don Trump Jr. came into the room and walked.
Hold on for a second, guys. All right, so somebody just asked a question. I'm answering emails or messaging, and because I really do want to catch this as well. But Emma Lady Dispatching says, how do you get a consultation with me? Contact the office, 800-867-7941. That's 800-867-7941. And one of my representatives or my assistants will put you on the calendar based on availability.
Walked behind his father's desk, which in and of itself was unusual. People didn't just walk behind Mr. Trump's desk to talk to him. And I recall Don Jr. leaning over to his father and speaking in a low voice, which I could clearly hear, and saying, "The meeting is all set." And I remember Mr. Trump saying, "Okay, good, let me know." What struck me as I looked back and thought about the exchange between Don Jr. and his father was first, that Mr. Trump had frequently told me and others that his son Don Jr. had the worst judgment of anyone in the world. And also that Don Jr. would never set up any meeting of significance alone, and certainly not without checking with his father. I also knew that nothing went on in Trump world, especially the campaign, without Mr. Trump's knowledge and approval. So I concluded that Don Jr. was referring to that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting about dirt on Hillary with the Russian representatives when he walked behind his dad's desk that day, and that Mr. Trump knew that was the meeting Don Jr. was talking about when he said, "That's good, let me know." Over the past year or so, I have done some real soul searching, and I see now that my ambition and the intoxication of Trump power had much to do with the bad decisions, in part, that I made. And to you, Chairman Cummings and Ranking Member Jordan, the other members of this committee, the members of the House and Senate, I am sorry for my lies and for lying to Congress. And to our nation, I am sorry for actively working to hide from you the truth about Mr. Trump when you needed it most. For those who question my motives for being here today, I understand. I have lied, but I am not a liar. And I have done bad things, but I am not a bad man. I have fixed things, but I am no longer your fixer, Mr. Trump. And I am going to prison and have shattered the safety and security that I tried so hard to provide for my family. My testimony certainly does not diminish the pain that I have caused my family and my friends. Nothing can do that. And I have never asked for, nor would I accept, a pardon from President Trump. And by coming today, I have caused my family to be the target of personal, scurrilous attacks by the president and his lawyer.
Yes, snitches does get stitches.
Trying to intimidate me from appearing before this panel. Mr. Trump called me a rat for choosing to tell the truth, much like a mobster would do when one of his men decides to cooperate with the government. And as Exhibit 8 shows, I have provided the committee with copies of tweets that Mr. Trump posted, attacking me and my family. And only someone burying his head in the sand would not recognize them for what they are. It's encouragement to someone to do harm to me and my family. I never imagined that he would engage in vicious, false attacks on my family and unleash his TV lawyer to do the same. And I hope this committee and all members of Congress on both sides of the aisle make it clear that as a nation, we should not tolerate attempts to intimidate witnesses before Congress, and attacks on family are out of bounds and not acceptable. I wish to especially thank Speaker Pelosi for her statements, it's Exhibit 9, to protect this institution and me, and the chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Adam Schiff, and you, Chairman Cummings, for likewise defending the institution and my family against the attacks by Mr. Trump, and also the many Republicans who have admonished the president as well. I am not a perfect man. I have done things I am not proud of, and I will live with the consequences of my actions for the rest of my life. But today, I get to decide the example that I set for my children and how I attempt to change how history will remember me. I may not be able to change the past, but I can do right by the American people here today. And I thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer the committee's questions.
30 minutes of testimony there from Michael Cohen, unlike any we have seen before in the U.S. Congress. The former lawyer for the President of the United States, direct personal attack, a broadside attack on the President, on his character, saying that he was directed to break the law, and also calling the President a racist, also talked about Russia. He's going to now be facing questions first from the chairman of the committee, Elijah Cummings.
Of your offenses, you are a lawyer, right?
As of yesterday, I am no longer a lawyer. I have lost my law license.
Oh, wow.
Amongst other things.
But you understand the gravity of this moment.
I most certainly do, Mr. Chairman.
That's important.
I want you to really hear this, Mr. Cohen. We will not tolerate lying to this Congress by anybody. We're in search of the truth. Do you understand that?
I do.
Now, the president has also made numerous statements that turned out to be inaccurate. For example, he said he knew nothing about the hush money payments to Ms. Clifford. And his 2017 financial disclosure form said he never owed money to reimburse you for those payments. Yet, in your testimony, Mr. Cohen, you said that you met with the president in the Oval Office in February of 2017 and discussed his plans to reimburse you for money you paid. You say he told you, and I quote, "Don't worry, Michael, your January and February reimbursement checks are coming." Is that accurate? And was that in the Oval Office?
The statement is accurate, but the discussions regarding the reimbursement occurred long before he became president.
Would you explain that?
Back in 2017, when, actually I apologize, in 2016, prior to the election, I was contacted by Keith Davidson, who is the attorney, or was the attorney for Ms. Clifford, for Stormy Daniels. And after several rounds of conversations with him about purchasing her life rights for $130,000, what I did each and every time is go straight into Mr. Trump's office and discuss the issue with him. When it was ultimately determined, and this was days before the election, that Mr. Trump was going to pay the $130,000, In the office with me was Alan Weisselberg, the Chief Financial Officer of the Trump Organization. He acknowledged to Alan that he was going to pay the $130,000 and that Alan and I should go back to his office and figure out how to do it. So yes, sir, I stand by the statement that I gave. There was a history to it.
In your testimony, you said you bought some checks, is that right? You said you bought some checks.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you about one of these. This from the Trump Trust that holds the president's businesses. Can you tell me who signed this check?
I believe that the top signature is Donald Trump Jr. And at the bottom signature, I believe, is Alan Weisselberg's.
And can you tell me the date of that check?
March 17th of 2017.
Now, wait a minute, hold up. The date on the check is after President Trump held his big press conference claiming that he gave up control of his businesses. How could the president have arranged for you to get this check if he was supposedly playing no role in his business?
Because the payments were designed to be paid over the course of 12 months, and it was declared to be a retainer for services that would be provided for the year of 2017.
Was there a retainer agreement?
There is no retainer agreement.
Would Don Jr. or Mr. Weisselberg have more information about that?
Mr. Weisselberg, for sure, about the entire discussions and negotiations prior to the election, and Don Jr. would have cursory information.
Now, here's another one. This one appears to be signed by Donald Trump himself. Is that his signature?
That is Donald Trump's signature.
So let me make sure I understand. Donald Trump wrote you a check out of his personal account while he was serving as President of the United States of America to reimburse you for hush money payments to Ms. Clifford. Is that?
And ladies and gentlemen, that is called a smoking gun. In court, in the law of the land, when you are in court, any attorney that's worth their weight in salt, they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you this. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Okay? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And this right here is the smoking gun. So this proves, so notice he's asking the dates. So when the individual, like the person, what's my man name? The MAGA supporter who looked like we done ran the MAGA supporter off. What's his name? What's the young boy's name? He had a very caucus mountainous name. What was his name? Colin. I think that was his name, Colin. We probably ran him off. But like Colin was asking, what's illegal about this? This is what's illegal about this. Right here. Smoking gun. This here is after Trump took office, he's writing personal checks. You can't do that when you're the President of the United States of America.
That's what you are telling the American people today?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Course of 12 months.
Would Don Jr. or Mr. Weisselberg have more information about that?
Mr. Weisselberg, for sure, about the entire discussions and negotiations prior to the election, and Don Jr. would have cursory information.
Now, here's another one. This one appears to be signed by Donald Trump himself. Is that his signature?
I had to rewind it
That is
again.
Donald Trump's signature.
I had to run it back.
So let me make sure I understand. Donald Trump wrote you a check out of his personal account while he was serving as President of the United States of America to reimburse you for hush money payments to Ms. Clifford. Is that what you are telling the American people today?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
One final question. The president claimed he knew nothing about these payments. His ethics filing said he owed nothing to you. Based on your conversations with him, is there any doubt in your mind that President Trump knew exactly what he was paying for?
There is no doubt in my mind, and I truly believe there is no doubt in the mind of the people of the United States of America.
And these new documents appear to corroborate what you just told us. With that, I'll yield to.
That's what you call smoking gun,
that
people.
You and I meet one day while we're in the courthouse, and I will take you for every penny you still don't have, and I will come after your daily beast and everybody else that you possibly know. So I'm warning you, tread very effing lightly, because what I'm going to do to you is going to be effing disgusting. You understand me? Mr. Cohen, who said that?
Wait.
And did you?
Wait. Mr. Cohen, wait. Cohen is gangster. He said, wait. And see, this is why this is important, guys. Listen, this is why this is important, because this is how you fight. So let me explain some things. So that's the reason why when y'all see me on YouTube and y'all see me talking all this noise, when you see me on YouTube and you see me talking to these different trolls and all of that stuff, and you see people trying to slander me and make videos about me, I'm a businessman. I'm gonna handle my business, man, just like Cohen. So listen to what Cohen said. Cohen says, I'm gonna sue you for everything you have. Cohen is a gangster with it. And let's see. So this guy, Mr. Jordan, is he is the House of Representative for Ohio. So let's kind of go back and to where he was, because he's coming and trying to continue to try to discredit him. So he's out of good old Ohio. That's which is Middle America, which makes a little more sense now. It helps me to understand a little bit more why he is caping for Trump like he is, because Middle America was his base, and Middle America is the individuals who end up getting Trump elected in the first place. So let's go ahead and get back into that. So this guy here, Representative Jim Jordan, he's the ranking member House Oversight Committee, and he's out of Ohio.
You possibly know. So I'm warning you. Tread very effing lightly.
Let's go back.
You understand me?
Is that?
Make sure that you and I meet one day while we're in the.
All right, hold on.
Just told us. With that,
I wanted to go back. Here we go. This is the beginning. Cohen is ice cold.
I will make sure that you and I meet one day while we're in the courthouse, and I will take you for every penny you still don't have, and I will come after your daily beast and everybody else that you possibly know. So I'm warning you. Tread very effing lightly, because what I'm going to do to you is going to be effing disgusting. You understand me? Mr. Cohen, who said that?
I did.
And did you say that, Mr. Cohen, in your testimony on page 2, you said you did things for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect him? Was that statement that I just read that you admitted to saying, did you do that to protect Donald Trump?
I did it to protect Mr. Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump.
And in your sentencing statement back in December in front of the judge, you said this, Mr. Cohen: my weakness can be characterized as a blind loyalty to Donald Trump, a blind loyalty that led me to choose a path of darkness. Is that accurate, Mr. Cohen?
I wrote that.
You wrote that and said that in front of the judge. Is that right?
That's correct.
Let me read a few other things here, and let me ask you why you did some of these things. When you filed a false tax return in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016, was all that out of blind loyalty to the president?
No, it was not.
When you failed to report $4 million in income to the Internal Revenue Service, did you do that to protect Donald Trump?
No, I did not.
And when you failed to pay $1.4 million in taxes, I got constituents who don't make that in a lifetime. When you failed to pay $1.4 million in taxes to the U.S. Treasury, was that out?
Hold on, him and Trump was making bank. Sheesh. He made $4 million a year and then his taxes was 1.4 million. Him and Trump was making bank.
Out of some blind loyalty to the President of the United States.
It was not, but the number was 1.38 exchange, and I have paid that money back.
Boom! I love it. Oh, I love it. He said, he said, listen, if you're gonna talk about it, stack them, you're gonna stack them straight. It wasn't 1.4, it was 1.38. I like that. I like that. Are you guys enjoying this? I know somebody said I should do more of these commentaries. Are you guys enjoying this? Do you like this? I want to add this. I need to add this to my conscious commentary playlist. But if you guys are like this, do you like it? I want you to say like this. Or if you think that this is boring and you don't like it, I want you to say boring. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to participate as if you're watching live. Do you like me doing this type of commentary? And this is live. This is a live reaction because I haven't seen it past the point that I told you guys. So if you guys like it, I want you to say like it. If you think it's boring, I want you to say it's boring.
To the IRS at this
Then you go stack them straight.
And I would also just like to say it was over a course of 5 years.
Okay, 5 years.
Approximately 260,000 a year.
Okay.
And that's what I said, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2000, that's 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, got it.
Okay. So his taxes were 200,000 a year. And so he didn't pay his taxes up until the end, and then he ended up paying his taxes. Okay, there's a lot of different tax loopholes. There's a lot of different tax loopholes that are out there. Okay. That's that Michael Cohen tax loophole. Okay.
Made false statements to financial institutions concerning a home equity line of credit, taxi medallions, and your Park Avenue apartment in 2013, 2014, and 2015, and you pled guilty to making those false statements to those banks. Was that all done to protect the president?
No, it was not.
How about this one? When you created the fake Twitter account, Women for Cohen, you paid a firm to post.
There's one thing about going through court, boy. They gonna pull it up on you. Cohen had a fake Twitter account called Women for Cohen. Look at that smile. Look, I'm laughing and he laughing. We both laughing because this is crazy. Women for Cohen. This is funny to me. Okay, you guys like it. Okay. All right. Odyssey says, let's be correct. Okay. D-Boy says, yep. Okay. All right. So Odyssey said, you like this? All right. So Harold says, yes, you enjoy this is gold. All right. Reginald Taylor says, you like this? All right. Shanty Farmer says, you like this? That's good stuff. It's fire. Yeah, look at his face, D-Boy. He made a fake. He had a fake Twitter account called Women for Cohen. Wow.
Those tweets like this one.
Oh, no, wait. Let's go back.
Exception, the President of the United States.
It was not, but the number was 1.38 and change, and I have paid that money back to the IRS at this time.
I think the American people will appreciate that 1.3.
And I would also just like to say it was over a course of 5 years, approximately 260,000 a year.
Yeah, and that's what I said, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2000, that's 5 years.
Yes.
Got it. When you made false statements to financial institutions concerning a home equity line of credit, taxi medallions, and your Park Avenue apartment in 2013, 2014, and 2015, and you pled guilty to making those false statements to those banks, was that all done to protect the president?
No, it was not.
How about this one? When you created the fake Twitter account, Women for Cohen, and paid a firm to post tweets like this one. In a world of lies, deception, and fraud, we appreciate this honest guy at Michael Cohen, hashtag TGIF, hashtag handsome, hashtag sexy.
Wow. There's some strategic marketing right there. And you know who taught him how to market like that? Trump. Trump taught him how to market like this. Remember, he's working for Trump. Wow.
Is that done to protect the president?
Mr. Jordan, I didn't actually set that up. It was done by a young lady that worked for Redfinch. And during the course of the campaign, which you would know gets somewhat crazy and wild, we were having fun. That's what it was, sir. We were having fun.
Was it done to protect the president?
That was not done to protect the
Was it
president.
a fake Twitter account?
That was a real Twitter account. It
You
exists.
pay a firm to create this.
I didn't
account
pay the firm
humans
to
were
do
called.
that. It was done by a young lady that works for the firm. And again, sir, we were having fun during a stressful time.
Mike, don't lose it, Mike. Just answer the question.
Lie to help yourself.
I'm not sure how that helped me, sir.
I'm not sure how it did either.
Right. And
Also, guys, you got to remember. So check this out. Hold on, wait. This is very important, right there. Check this out, right, guys. Look. Remember, Cohen is an attorney. Mr. Jordan's not an attorney. He is just a congressman. I don't know if he has a law degree, but just because you have a law degree doesn't mean you have to practice law. Cohen is an attorney that practices. So him going back and forth with him actually, like he said, is I think it's helping his credibility. Let's go back. I want to bring that thing back up. Hold on for a second. I want to bring this thing back up. Hold on. Let me see if I can. I got to find out how to rewind it and not go back so far. Hold on. Because I was talking and messed up some of the banter.
Was it a fake Twitter account?
that was a real Twitter account. It
You
exists.
pay a firm to create this.
I didn't
account
pay the firm
humans
to
were
do
called.
that. It was done by a young lady that works for the firm. And again, sir, we were having fun during a stressful time.
The point is, Mr. Cohen, did you lie to protect the president or did you lie to help yourself?
I'm not sure how that helped me, sir.
I'm not sure how it did either.
Right. And I would
Point
like
is,
to
I
also
think-
note that more than half the people
And
on
here's
that
the
site
point.
are men.
Here's the point. I just gave you a 30-minute opening statement, and you have a history of lying over and over and over again, and frankly, you don't take my word for it. Take what the court said. Take what the Southern District of New York said. Cohen did crimes that were marked by a pattern of deception and that permeated his professional life. These crimes were distinct in their harms, but bear a common set of circumstances. They each involved deception and were each motivated by personal greed and ambition. Pattern of deception for personal greed and ambition, and you just got 30 minutes of an opening statement where you trashed the President of the United States of America. Mr. Cohen, how long did
Cohen does want all the
you work
smoke.
for Donald Trump?
Approximately a decade.
10 years?
That's correct.
You said all these bad things about the president there in that last 30 minutes, and yet you worked for him for 10 years? All those bad things, I mean, if it's that bad, I can see you working for him for 10 days, maybe 10 weeks, maybe even 10 months. But you worked for him for 10 years. Mr. Cohen, how long did you work in the White House?
I never worked in the White House.
And that's the point, isn't it, Mr. Cohen?
No, sir.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, sir.
You wanted to work in the White House,
No,
you
sir.
didn't get brought to the dance.
Sir.
And now,
I was extremely proud to be personal attorney to the President of the United States of America. I did not want to go to the White House. I was offered jobs. I can tell you a story of Mr. Trump reaming out Reince Priebus because I had not taken a job where Mr. Trump wanted me to. I was working with Don McGahn at the White House General Counsel's office.
Cohen, you worked for the
Sir,
president.
sir, one
Facts. Hold on, wait. If you're going to stack them straight. I don't want to be in the White House. Listen, see, this is the thing too, guys. I want to reiterate some things too. I want to add some redress to this. When you work for public office, you don't get made that much money. The President of the United States only makes around maybe $100,000 to $200,000 a year, I think. Let me double check that. I don't want to tell you something that's wrong, so give me a second, guys. Let me double check this. Hold on, let me double check how much the president makes. I think he only makes like $100,000 a year or something like that. I think he doesn't get paid that much money. His salary is $400,000 a year. Okay, it's $400,000 a year. So his salary is $400,000 a year. When you work in public office, that is a good amount of money. In my assessment, when you work in public office, you don't make the type of money that they made before because you're not allowed to actually work. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why Trump didn't want to be the president, because he's a billionaire. You're going to go from doing $1 billion real estate deals and now you're making $400,000 a year. And that's him. Like when people talk about Omarosa was the least paid person that was in the White House. Like for instance, Cohen is saying that he didn't want to be in the White House because he's making $4 million a year. He don't want to go to the White House. He was like, no. He's like, I don't want to go to the White House.
Second, what I said at the time, and I brought
Greed and ambition, and you just got 30 minutes of an opening statement where you trashed the President of the United States.
jobs. I can tell you a story of Mr. Trump reaming out Reince Priebus because I had not taken a job where Mr. Trump wanted me to, which is working with Don McGahn at the White House General Counsel's office.
Oh, and you work for the President.
Sorry, one second. What I said at the time, and I brought a lawyer in who produced a memo as to why I should not go in because there would be no attorney-client privilege in order to handle some of the matters that I talked about in my opening, that it would be best suited for me not to go in, and that every president had a personal
Cohen, here's what
attorney.
I see. Here's what I see. I see a guy who worked for 10 years and is here trashing the guy he worked for 10 years. Didn't get a job in the White House. And now you're behaving just like everyone else who's got fired or didn't get the job they wanted, like Andy McCabe, like James Comey, same kind of selfish motivation after you don't get the thing you want. That's what I see here today, and I think that's what the American people.
Mr. Jordan, all I wanted was what I got. Personal attorney to the president, to enjoy the senior year of my son in high school and waiting for my daughter who's graduating from college to come back to New York. I got exactly what I want.
Exactly what you want?
What I wanted, that's right.
Gentlemen,
I received exactly what I wanted.
Gentlemen,
Wait. You can see how mad he was.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cohen, thank you for being here today. As you likely know, I served as the chair of the Democratic National Committee at the time of the Russian hacks and when Russia weaponized the messages that it had stolen. But I want to be clear. My questions are not about the harm done to any individual by WikiLeaks and the Russians. It's about the possible and likely harm to the United States of America and our democracy. I have a series of questions that I hope will connect more of these dots. Mr. Cohen, is it your testimony that Mr. Trump had advanced knowledge of the Russia WikiLeaks release of the DNC's emails?
I cannot answer that in a yes or no. He had advanced notice that there was going to be a dump of emails, but at no time did I hear the specificity of what those emails were going to be.
But you do testify today that he had advanced knowledge of their imminent release.
That is what I had stated in my testimony.
And that he cheered that outcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Did Mr. Trump likely share this information with his daughter Ivanka, son Don Jr., or Jared Kushner?
I'm not aware of that.
Was Ivanka, Jared, or Don Jr. still involved in the Russian tower deal at that time?
The company was involved in the deal, which meant that the family was involved in the deal.
If Mr. Trump and his daughter Ivanka and son Donald Jr. are involved in the Russian Trump tower deal, is it possible the whole family is conflicted or compromised with a foreign adversary in the months before the election?
Yes.
Based on your experience with the president and knowledge of his relationship with Mr. Stone, do you have reason to believe that the president explicitly or implicitly authorized Mr. Stone to make contact with WikiLeaks and to indicate the campaign's interest in the strategic release of these illegally hacked materials?
I'm not aware of that.
Was Mr. Stone a free agent reporting back to the president what he had done? Or was he an agent of the campaign acting on behalf of the president and with his apparent authority?
No, he was a free agent.
A free agent that was reporting back to the president what he had done.
All right, guys, we had several new people that just jumped into the live. Everybody hit that like button and hit that share button. If you just now joined us live, excuse me, go ahead and hit that like button and hit that share button. Somebody just said, Black Ocean says, thanks so much for sharing this. I didn't even know this was on. Make sure you hit hit that like button and hit that share button. And then he asked, he or she asked, is she black? No, she's not a Caucasian. I mean, she's not an African American. You can see him and her look like they're about the same pigment in her eyes, and you can see her hair. You can tell that she's not African American. You can tell that she's Caucasian in my assessment. But I don't really think that matters.
frequently reached out to Mr. Trump, and Mr. Trump was very happy to take his calls. It was free service.
Roger Stone says he never spoke with Mr. Trump about WikiLeaks. How can we corroborate what you are saying?
I don't know, but I suspect that the special counsel's office and other government agencies have the information that you're seeking.
Moving on to a little later in 2016, a major WikiLeaks dump happens hours after the Access Hollywood tape is released. Do you believe or are you aware of Mr. Trump coordinating or signaling for this email dump?
I am unaware of that. I actually was not even in the country at the time of the Billy Bush tape. I was in London visiting my daughter.
Knowing how Mr. Trump operates with his winning at all costs mentality, do you believe that he would cooperate or collude with a foreign power to win the presidency? Is he capable of that?
It calls on so much speculation.
Speculation, yep.
It would be unfair for me to.
Yep.
I understand, but you have a tremendous amount of experience.
Mr. Trump.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Guys, remember, he's an attorney. So, and a lot of these individuals that are in Congress, they're not attorneys. So they are lawmakers when it comes to constitutional law. And so you can't speculate. It's a contemptual point in order to speculate on the knowledge or speculate on someone's frame of mind or speculate on someone's expertise level. Any attorney worth their weight in salt would know that that's entrapment and that's speculation. You can't do that.
He's all about winning. And he will do what is necessary
and in your
to win.
opinion and experience, would he have the potential to cooperate or collude with a foreign power to win the presidency at all costs?
Yes.
Based on what you know, would Mr. Trump, or did he, lie about colluding and coordinating with the Russians at any point during the campaign?
So as I stated in my testimony, I wouldn't use the word colluding.
What does the word collude mean, guys? I don't know. Let's see what the word collusion means and collude. I don't know, because he's being very matter of fact about that. So that is, I want to know, what does the word collude mean? Because he's being very matter of fact. I don't know what collude means. Let's see what collusion means. What does the word collude means? It means, the word collusion means to collect and combine information or set of figures in proper order. Oh, that's collate. That's not right. I spelled it wrong. Collusion. Oh, that's collate. Hold on for a second. I know what that's collate. Hold on for a second. Collusion. There we go. Collusion. The world. Autocorrect messed me up. Here we go. Collusion. There we go. And what it is. Let's get it bigger. Let's make it bigger so we can see exactly what it means. All right. It means one. Now that's collision. What the world is going on? I cannot. Collusion is what in the world is going on? It's collision. My eyes playing tricks on me. Every time I type in collusion, that's collision. What the world? Collusion. I'm spelling it wrong. Collusion. There we go. Collusion. Not collision. Collusion. Okay. Collusion. They don't have Webster's dictionary for collusion. There's synonyms for collusion. Because I want to know specifically what collusion means. Specifically what they're saying collusion means. They're saying specifically that collusion means a secret or illegal cooperation or conspiracy, especially in order to cheat or deceive others. So words mean things. So he said that he's not saying that he did collusion, which is very interesting why he says it that way. I wonder why he's saying it like that he did not say a collusion, because words mean things. I wonder what he means by that. That's interesting to me. I wonder where he's going with that.
Had with other individuals, there's just so many dots that all seem to lead to the same direction.
Finally, before my time expires, Mr. Cohen, the campaign and the entire Trump organization appeared to be filthy with Russian contact.
Let's go back.
Would he have the potential to cooperate or collude with a foreign power to win the presidency at all costs?
Yes.
Based on what you know, would Mr. Trump, or did he, lie about colluding and coordinating with the Russians at any point during the campaign?
I think the reason why he can't say he did collude, because collusion, the definition is to conspire, and you cannot prove that he conspired. You don't know his frame of thought unless you have any type of evidence showing that he did. So I think that's the reason why he's very cautious about using the word collusion. Now that I have a better understanding of what the definition of that word means, it means to conspire against in order to defraud. So I wouldn't say that. I'm very curious to see the reason why he kept saying I wouldn't say collusion, but that's very good stuff.
So as I stated in my testimony, I wouldn't use the word colluding. Was there something odd about the back and forth praise with President Putin?
And the reason why I say that, guys, because remember, in law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. That's the reason why that's where everything stands up in the court of law. It doesn't matter what you know, it doesn't matter what you say, it only matters what you prove, what you can prove. So it doesn't matter what you know, is what you can prove. So that's why he says that I can't prove it, but is there something odd going on? Yeah.
Yes, but I'm not really sure that I can answer that question in terms of collusion. I was not part of the campaign. I don't know the other conversations that Mr. Trump had with other individuals. There's just so many dots that all seem to lead to the same direction.
Finally, before my time expires, Mr. Cohen, the campaign and the entire Trump organization appeared to be filthy with Russian
filthy.
There are Russian business contacts. There are campaign Russian contacts. There are lies about all of those contacts. And then we have Roger Stone informing the president just before the Democratic National Convention that that WikiLeaks was going to drop documents in the public arena that we knew at that point were hacked and stolen by Russia from the Democratic National Committee.
The gentle lady's time has expired.
Oh, they call it gentle lady. So that's what you're supposed to say. Instead of saying gentleman, you're supposed to call him a gentle lady. Somebody said this. D-Boy Sanchez says, sorry to say it, but watch he mysteriously dies in prison. I think that's why he's not talking against Russia. If I can be 100% honest with you, the reason why I don't think that he's putting his mouth against Russia is because of that right there. I think he is afraid of Russia. Because he's afraid of Putin. I wouldn't necessarily think that he would be afraid of Trump, but I think that he's afraid of Russia. That's what I think. Do you guys think that? Do you guys think that he's afraid of Russia? If you think so, I want you to say afraid. If you don't think he's afraid of Russia, just say he don't know. 3 words. So if you think he does know and he doesn't want to speak on it, he's afraid, I want you to say afraid. If you don't think that he's afraid, you just don't think he knows, I want you to say he don't know. 3 words.
You may answer her inquiry.
My question is,
Quickly.
given all those connections, is it likely that Donald Trump was fully aware and had every intent of working with Russia to help make sure that he could win the presidency at all costs?
So let me say that this is a matter.
Somebody said they had a similar thought. Who was that? All right, the favorite one said you had a similar thought. All right, Quentin Lee says he's afraid. Quincy says he's afraid. All right. Risk One says he should be afraid. All right. Fire Goddess says, allegedly, in my opinion, Trump has ties to people in high places. I agree. He's afraid. All right. Jarvis says afraid. So the fixum says that he don't know. He doesn't know. That's good stuff. You think that he does? He just doesn't know. He's not afraid. All right. All right. So Carolina the Kid says yes. Russia have been known as have a lot of sleeper cells. Very afraid. Gone Postal 28. Very afraid. I agree. I think that's the reason why he's not really putting his mouth on Russia, and I think he's very clear about saying I don't know because of that. That's my opinion, and that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. That's what I believe.
That's currently being handled by the House Select and the Senate Select Intelligence Committees, and so I would rather not answer that specific question other than just to tell you that Mr. Trump's desire to win would have him work with anyone. And one other thing that I had said in my statement is that when it came to the Trump Tower Moscow project, it was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and we never expected to win the election.
Mm-hmm.
So this was just business as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Great of Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ranking Member Jordan, the chairman in this committee have promised members of the American people a fair and open process. Yet the Democrats have vastly limited the scope of this hearing. They've issued a gag order to try to tell members of this committee what we can and cannot talk about. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle claim that they want the truth, that they want transparency and fair oversight. Yet the Democrats' witness to testify before Congress today is none other than a scorned man who's going to prison for lying to Congress. Let that sink in. He's going to prison for lying to Congress, and he's the star witness to Congress. If you read the sentencing report on Mr. Cohen, words like deceptive and greedy are scattered throughout that report. It paints a picture of a narcissist, a bully, who cannot tell the truth.
He wanted to smoke. He was ready. Who is this? Who is this individual? Hold on for a second. He want that smoke. What's his name?
Whether it's about the president.
Let's see who this is.
About it.
Hold on for a second. He's from the speaker from where? Shoot, he want that smoke. He came out guns blazing. Let's see who this is. Hold on, let's go back. He came out guns blazing.
Dollars, and we never expected to win the election. So this was just business as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Great of Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ranking Member Jordan.
Ranking Member
Chairman of
Jordan.
this committee have promised members of the American
So this is Ranking Member Jordan. He represents Tennessee.
people a fair and open process. Yet the Democrats have vastly limited the scope of this hearing. They've issued a gag order to try to tell members of this committee what we can and cannot talk about. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle claim that they want the truth, that they want transparency and fair oversight, yet the Democrats witnessed...
I was just actually looking at his wedding ring. His wedding ring is pretty dope. I've actually seen a lot of people who might have a class ring as their wedding ring. They won't have a traditional band. I was watching Offset on The Breakfast Club, and he had something like that was a little more flashier. I was thinking about something like that because I need to get me. I don't need to get me. I need to pick out what I want. My baby gonna get me the type of wedding ring that I want. And we were going shopping, and I think that just got me thinking. Maybe something with like black, because my favorite color is black. So something with black on it or something with diamond. I don't know. That's interesting. ADD moment. Forgive me.
Before Congress today is none other than a scorned man who's going to prison for lying to Congress. Let that sink in. He's going to prison for lying to Congress, and he's the star witness.
Mark Green is his name. Mark want the smoke. Mark want that smoke. Mark said, Cohen, Mark want that smoke. Our fire guy says he's terrified beyond words. Somebody says he's late. He already got a Russian target on him. Oh no. Oh no. But Mark want that smoke. If y'all agree that Mark want the smoke, I want you to give me some smoke emojis in the comments.
To Congress.
He's in Tennessee.
If you read the sentencing report on Mr. Cohen, words like deceptive and greedy are scattered throughout that report. It paints a picture of a narcissist, a bully, who cannot tell the truth, whether it's about the president or about his own personal life. But today, he's the majority party's star witness. If the Democrats were after the truth, they'd have an honest person here testifying. And if they were really after the truth, they'd not restrict the questioning to just a few topics. But let's take a look at those restricted topics. Mr. Chairman, the first topic in your limited scope that I can ask Mr. Cohen is about the president's debts. But Mr. Chairman, didn't Mr. Cohen plead guilty to lying to banks about his personal finances? So we're asking a guy going to jail for lying about his debts to comment about the president's debts. He's the expert. Mr. Chairman, your next couple of topics say that I can ask Mr. Cohen about the president's compliance with financial disclosures and campaign finance laws, but didn't Mr. Cohen on 2 occasions break campaign finance law with his own donations? So again, the majority party's star witness on the president's compliance is a guy who broke compliance laws himself. Mr. Chairman, you graciously allow us to ask questions of Mr. Cohen on the president's dealings with the IRS and tax law. Your star witness here broke the law with regards to the IRS at least 5 times. He pled guilty on cheating on his taxes, lying to the IRS. He's the best witness you got. Next up, with the permission of the chairman, I get to ask Mr. Cohen about his perspective on the president's business dealings. Let me get this straight. The witness lied to multiple financial institutions to get loans to pay off other loans just to keep himself afloat, and he's going to be the expert on business practices. Obviously, Mr. Chairman, the witness may produce documents that he suggests incriminates the president, yet...
Look at Cohen's face. Hold on, wait.
All of those lies were done on fraud.
Wait, look at Cohen's face. Look at Cohen's face. Look at Cohen's face. He like, hold up, buddy. Do you guys think Cohen is offended? Oh, my phone died. I gotta go put my phone on the charger. But look at Cohen's face, man. Cohen is like, man, what you doing? If you agree, I want you to write in the comments. I want you to give me the smoke emoji. Do you think that Mike is giving Cohen? Do you think that this representative is giving him the business? Look at Cohen. Cohen is like, what the world is going on? I'm about to put my phone on the charger, guys.
Fraudulent documents. Documents that he forged. Nothing he says or produces has any credibility. Apparently, he even lied about delivering his own child, which his wife had to correct the record. Ladies and gentlemen, how on earth is this witness credible? With all the lies and deception, the self-serving fraud, it begs the question, what is the majority party doing here? No one can see this guy as credible. He will say whatever he wants to accomplish his own personal goals. He's a fake witness, and his presence here is a travesty. I hope the American people see through this. I know the people back in Tennessee will. And with that statement, sir, I have a few questions of the witness. With your loss of your law license, I think you mentioned in your opening statement that you had been disbarred. What is your source of income in the future?
I don't expect I'm going to have a source of income when I'm in federal penitentiary.
Is there a book deal coming or anything like that?
I have no book deal right now in the process. I have been contacted by many, including for television, the movie. If you want to tell me who you would like to play you, I'm more than happy to write the name down.
I'm sure
I
there's
will also like to turn around and just to correct your statement on No.
Well, let me ask one other question, though. I only have a limited amount of time.
No individual.
One quick question. Who paid your expenses to be here today?
Who's paid my expenses?
To be here today?
I paid my expenses.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield the remaining amount of time to the ranking member.
Mr. Cohen, how many times did you talk to the special counsel's office?
7.
Did they talk to you at all in preparation for today's hearing between the 7 times you talked to him prior to your sentencing? Have you had any conversations with the special counsel's office between sentencing and today?
I'm so sorry, I don't understand your question.
You talked to him 7 times. That's in the sentencing memorandums that were in front of the court back in December. What I'm asking is how many times you talked to the special counsel's office since then up to today's appearance here in Congress?
The gentleman's time has expired. You may answer the question now. That's one question.
I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to this.
Maloney.
I'll come back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr.
He
Cohen,
mad. They was trying to railroad him.
Your 10 years of working for Donald Trump.
Hold on. They was trying to railroad him. They was trying to give him the business. They was trying to tag team him. See, they getting upset. They getting mad. The body language. They throwing down the glasses. All of that stuff mean things, especially in the court. All of that means things, especially in court, guys. This is good. This is really, really good. I'm really enjoying this.
Did he control everything that went on in the Trump organization? And did you have to get his permission in advance and report back after every meeting of any importance?
So she is the representative out of New York.
There was nothing that happened at the Trump organization, from whether it was a response as the Daily Beast story that you referred to, Ranking Member, that did not go through Mr. Trump with his approval and sign off, as in the case of the payments.
How many times did the President, Michael, ask you or direct you to try to reach settlements with women in 2015 and 2016?
Yeah, I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't have the answer to that. I'd have to go back and try to recollect. It's certainly the 2 that we know about.
And why do you think the President did not provide the accurate information in his 2017 financial disclosure form? What was he trying to hide? He corrected other forms, but he didn't correct this one.
The payments on the reimbursement of the funds that I extended on his behalf.
Can you elaborate more?
Well, going back into the story, as I stated, when Alan Weisselberg and I left the office and we went to his office in order to make the determination on how the money was going to be wired to the IOLA, the interest on a lawyer's account, for Keith Davidson in California, I had asked Alan to use his money. Didn't want to use mine, and he said he couldn't, and we then decided how else we can do it. He asked me whether or not I know anybody who wants to have a party at one of his clubs that could pay me instead, or somebody who may have wanted to become a member of one of the golf clubs. And I also don't have anybody that was interested in that. And it got to the point where it was down to the wire. It was either somebody wire the funds and purchase the life rights to the story from Miss Clifford, or it was going to end up being sold to television, and that would have embarrassed the president and it would have interfered with the election.
But the president has never amended his 2017 form to this day, and while you're facing the consequences of going to jail, he is not.
Well, I believe that they amended a financial disclosure form, and there's a footnote somewhere buried. I don't recall specifically what it says, but there is a footnote buried somewhere.
Can you describe, Michael, to the American people, catch and kill?
So catch and kill is a method that exists when you're working with a news outlet. In this specific case, it was AMI, National Enquirer, David Pecker, Dylan Howard, and others, where they would contact me or Mr. Trump or someone and state that there's a story that's percolating out there that you may be interested in. And then what you do is you contact that individual and you purchase the rights to that story from them.
And you practice this for the president?
I was involved in several of these.
Hold on, wait. That was important.
And it exists when you're working.
But the president has never amended his 2017 form.
That was important.
Today, and while you're facing the consequences of going to jail, he is not.
Well, I believe that they amended a financial disclosure form, and there's a footnote somewhere buried. I don't recall specifically what it says, but there is a footnote buried somewhere.
Can you describe, Michael, to the American people, catch and kill?
Catch and kill. This is important.
Catch and kill is a method that exists when you're working with a news outlet. In this specific case, it was AMI, National Enquirer, David Pecker, Dylan Howard, and others, where they would contact me or Mr. Trump or someone and state that there's a story that's percolating out there that you may be interested in. And then what you do is you contact that individual and you purchase the rights to that story.
They do that a lot.
And you practice this for the president?
I was involved in several of these catch and kill episodes. These catch and kill scenarios existed between David Pecker and Mr. Trump long before I started working for him in 2007.
Michael, can you suggest who else this committee should talk to for additional information on this or anything else?
Yes, I believe David Pecker, Dylan Howard, Barry Levine of AMI as well, Alan Weisselberg, Alan Garten, Trump Organization.
He dropping all the names.
Well, thank you very much for your testimony, and Mr. Chairman, this is a story of redemption.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Comer.
Mr. Cohen, in your testimony, you stated that you began work for the Trump Organization as a lawyer dealing with real estate transactions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Prior to coming to Congress, I served as the director of 2 different banks, so I've seen hundreds of loan applications. And to try to determine your credibility here today, I just wanted to ask you a couple of real estate transaction questions just to see how, in fact, you operate. According to the Southern District of New York prosecutors, you lied to banks to secure loans by falsely stating the amount of debt you were carrying. Mr. Cohen, my question to you, was it Donald Trump's fault that you knowingly committed a crime of deception to defraud a bank?
No, it's not.
Was that fraudulent loan you obtained for the Trump Organization or for you personally?
It would be for me, though I'm not familiar with which loan that you're referring to.
He's snitching on everybody.
I would like to say one thing, sir. Sorry, I would like just to respond. When we're talking about the home equity line of credit, which is what I believe you're referring to.
We're also referring, I'm going to ask a question pertaining to your summer home that you purchased.
I never purchased a summer home. No individual or no bank in the 22 years that I've had loans have ever lost $1 with me.
When the truth don't work, they start telling lies. He said, I ain't got no summer home.
Find out if someone's trying to deceive them.
In 22 years, I have no money that's ever been. No, it's not.
Was that fraudulent loan you obtained for the Trump?
I as well.
Falsely stating
This is a story of redemption.
Hold on. My man Cohen is coming. Not Cohen. What's his other guy's name?
In your testimony, you stated that you began work for the Trump Organization as a lawyer dealing with real estate transactions.
Lawyer. So I wonder where he's from. He says he called him a lawyer. He didn't say lawyer. He said lawyer. Let's see where he's from.
That's
Mr. Comer. Lawyer.
That's correct.
Prior to coming to Congress, I served as the director of 2 different banks, so I've seen hundreds of loan applications. And to try to determine.
So, like for instance, he was the director of 2 different banks before he became a congressman. So you don't have to have a law degree in order to be a congressman. Lawyer.
Determine your credibility here today. I just wanted to ask you a couple of real estate.
He's out of Kentucky. They see that? He's out of Kentucky. That's a Representative James Comer out of Kentucky.
Transaction questions just to see how, in fact, you operate. According to the Southern District of New York prosecutors, you lied to banks to secure loans by falsely stating the amount of debt you were carrying. Mr. Cohen, my question to you, was it Donald Trump's fault that you knowingly committed a crime of deception to defraud a bank?
Kentucky.
No, it's not.
Lawyer.
Was that fraudulent loan you obtained for the Trump organization or for you personally?
It would be for me, though I'm not familiar with which loan that you're referring to.
Mr.
I would
Cohen,
like to say one thing,
Mr.
sir.
Cohen,
Sorry, I would like just to respond. When
The loan
we're
that you
talking
pled
about,
guilty-
when we're talking about the home equity line of credit, which is what I believe you're referring to,
we're also referring, I'm
no-
going to ask a
no
question pertaining to your
individual-
summer home that you purchased.
I
too.
never purchased a summer home. No individual or no bank in the 22 years that I've had loans have ever lost a dollar with me. I owe no money to any bank.
Well, the banks usually find out if someone's trying to deceive them.
In
Did
22
your-
years,
your
I've
Twenty-two
had
years.
no
blind
money
loyalty-
that's ever been owed
Mr.
to
Cohen.
any individual or
Chairman.
any bank.
Cohen want that smoke. He ain't playing around. Then look at these comments. Guys, I'm getting hungry. Would you guys be okay if I ordered me a sandwich earlier. Would you guys be all right if I did this commentary while eating a sandwich? I don't want to be unprofessional, but my stomach touching my back. Let's look at some of these messages. Ah, this is very fun. This is good. So let's see. Okay, I see the smoke. All right, so the golden fire goddess gave me the smoke. All right, D-Bay gave me the smoke. Yeah, he going in on Cohen. Quincy said he's going in on Cohen. Oh yeah, it's personal. The fire goddess is absolutely personal. All right, Ronnie gave me the smoke. Absolutely. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Absolutely. Absolutely. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Where there is smoke, there's fire. All these new people that just came into the chat, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and like this and share this as well. Like this and share this. Hit that like button, hit that share button.
Did your so-called blind loyalty to the president cause you to defraud the bank for your own personal gain?
Sir, I take exception to that because there has never been a fraud I never defrauded any bank.
Well, let's dig a little deeper on that, on the bank fraud. According to the Southern District of New York, you failed to disclose more than $20 million in liabilities, as well as tens of thousands of dollars of monthly expenses. That's according to the Southern District of New York. Now, Mr. Cohen, you being a lawyer, surely you knew you were breaking the law. No, why would you have done that?
Sir, I'm not a CPA, and I pled guilty. I'm going to prison as a result of
Because
it.
you're a con?
No, sir.
Look, his hand shaking.
Because I pled guilty, and I am going to be doing the time. I have caused tremendous pain to my family, and I take
Let's
no
go back to the
in
one
the
last question
statements.
about the bank. When the bank found out about the liabilities that you failed to disclose, you lied again to the bank. This is according to the Southern District of New York, and said it had been expunged when in fact you just shifted the debt to another bank. So apparently, according to the information that we received, your intent to defraud the bank was for the desire to purchase the summer home for $8.5 million?
No, sir. That
not
would have
correct?
been off of an equity line, considering I had less than a 50% loan to value on the assets, and there was a pre-existing line of credit that existed years before the date that you're referring to, where this is all surrounding New York City taxi medallions.
But you understand that when you fail to disclose liabilities, especially $20 million in liabilities, that is, in fact, fraud.
Except even with the $20 million in liability,
How much was it?
the medallions were at that time worth over $45 million.
Mr. Cohen, you called Donald Trump a cheat in your opening testimony. What would you call yourself?
They going in on Cohen.
You calling, okay, well, no comment on that.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, we simply in search of the truth. I don't believe that Michael Cohen is capable of telling the truth. And I would hope that as this committee moves forward, that when we have the opportunity to subpoena witnesses, we subpoena witnesses that are not recently disbarred, are not convicted felons, and witnesses witnesses that haven't committed bank fraud and tax fraud.
He said he's not
That
capable
is
of
how
telling
we
the truth.
determine the truth. So, Mr. Chairman, I yield the balance of my time to the ranking member.
So that I will not be here and I Cohen for Trump that has
I think they're about to take a recess, guys.
60 million people. And when Mr. Trump turned around early in the campaign and said, I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it.
He
I
said
want
that.
to be very clear. He's not joking. He's telling you the truth. He said, you don't know him. I do. I sat next to this man for 10 years. I watched his back. I'm the one who started the campaign. And I'm the one who continued in 2015 to promote him. And so many things I thought that he can do that are just great. And he can, and he is doing things that are great. But this destruction of our civility to one another is just, it's out of control. And when he goes on Twitter and he starts bringing in my in-laws, my parents, my wife, what does he think is going to happen? He's causing, he's sending out the same message that he can do whatever he wants. This is his country, becoming an autocrat. And hopefully something bad will happen to me or my children or my wife so that I will not be here and testify. That's what his hope was to intimidate me. And again, I thanked everybody who joined and said that this is just not right.
Have you ever seen Mr. Trump personally threaten people with physical harm?
No. He would use others.
He would hire other people to do that?
Not because I just hired them, they're already working. Everybody's job at the Trump Organization is to protect Mr. Trump. Every day, most of us knew we were coming in and we were going to lie for him on something. And that became the norm. And that's exactly what's happening right now in this country. And it's exactly what's happening in the government. So,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. My time has expired.
Don Trump.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can we take a break?
All right.
I did, sir. So that's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And with that, the committee is going to be going to a short recess. About 2 hours into the hearing, Michael Cohen facing so many questions from Republicans about his credibility, Democrats focusing on the charges he's making against President Trump having mostly to do with the campaign finance violations. He's going to prison.
You guys hear me munching on my sandwich.
To build a Trump tower in Moscow during the campaign. Let me start with Dan Abrams, our chief legal officer.
You guys hear me munching on my sandwich. Guys, I think I might call it a day with that at that recess because I have so much work I need to do, and I really want to eat my lunch. I want to eat my sandwich as well, but that's been I mean, this is so good, guys. This is going all day. I did not know, like I said, this is live. I didn't know how long that this was going on. I didn't know. They said they've been going for 2 hours already. So they are interrogating. I did not realize that every single member of Congress was going to, I guess it's the same thing as cross-examining because he gave his testimony, so they're cross-examining him, I guess. But this is very interesting. I feel like the information that Cohen said is very revelatory. I'm hoping that we can get some leeway. The same way the U.S. is keeping the smoke with Bill Cosby. The same way the U.S. is keeping the smoke with R. Kelly. The same way that they're trying to bring up old stuff from Michael Jackson. I'm hoping that justice can be served when it comes to the situation with Trump. And some people say, well, we don't want the vice president to be president. Yes, we do. The reason why is because the vice president, even though he might be a bigot as well, at least he's qualified and he has credentials. But most importantly, it is the blow to bigotry. It is the blow to outright racism. It's the blow to the ultra alt-right conservative agenda that I want to see happen. I want a blow against that. So even though, yeah, the administration is is full of people who are not the best, but the poster child, having the poster being removed by being impeached, does more good than it does harm. And then we don't have to worry about him in 2020, because I saw some comments, people talking about Trump for 2020. So if we are able to get him impeached, causing us damage, we ain't got to worry about him in 2020. That's how we looking on that. But listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on the replay and you want to participate as if you're watching live, next time make sure that you subscribe. And after you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can participate with us. And listen, the only person stopping you from being successful is you. If you don't know how to achieve something, you can learn it. If you don't know it, you can learn it. If you have not yet met the person that can open the door for you, you can meet them. If you don't have if you haven't developed the character to be successful, you can develop it. The only person stopping you from being successful is you. Go get them. Stay woke. Success is waiting for you.